opinion only. I don't really have many good structured notes tonight, but I just wanted to get on here after a week of dealing with some illness. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been sick. It seems like it's going around real bad. And I myself wasn't that sick. Last weekend I felt it a little bit, and then like for a few days, and I was fine. I had one kid that had to go to the doctor, and he was home for 3 days from school, which I think is the most he's ever missed, consecutively. So we dealt with that, and I woke up to the news. I'm sure a lot of people woke up to too, and I didn't know what to title this. I just sat there for 20 minutes trying to think of a title. It's so stupid because I just didn't want to be like sounding dramatic. Lemon lime Gatorade for sore throat. Yeah, we don't really buy Gatorade that much, but we've been doing a lot of throat coat, which has lots of good stuff. Licorice, marshmallow, clove. How are you, Gloom? Powder, yeah, actually, when we do it, we get the powder. Well, I wonder, are you talking about like, is there citric acid in it? Like, what do you think is in it that you think is good for sore throats? You know what I mean? And yeah, my kid who it was kind of weird. Yes, we used a lot of Manuka honey and tea. He was like he had a really bad sore throat. His dad's been sick even longer and he doesn't well, his throat was kind of sore, but it hit my kid the hardest, like his throat. Anyways, so we're dealing with that. And then I woke up this morning to seeing how, we're bombing Iran. And when I made this title, I'm sure people would understand what I'm talking about, just like everything going on socially, um, geopolitically. Just what is going on with our world is so crazy. Lemon lime Gatorade helps hydration also. Oh, yeah, electrolytes, extra boost and soothing to throat. Yes, Gloom. Yeah, and the Iran stuff, and just I almost titled this Groundhog's Day. It just feels like not to make it about me, but I'm sure a lot of you like think about 911 and like what we went through, what we saw our peers go through for 20 years, and then being told that one of Trump's many lies. And I understand no politician can keep all their promises, really. They're just one person. But one thing he said is he wasn't going to have any forever wars, right? And here we are. And it's so disappointing. When 911 happened, they started right away with like the Islamophobia, and I've been outspoken. Been around some extremists personally when I was a little girl. And like just like with any religion, it's always the extreme people that spoil it for the rest of the people. But there's so much to be said about the way a lot of people have been conditioned over here to think about people in the Middle East. And it's kind of a joke to me when Trump starts talking about how they're there to liberate anybody. When was the last time that we ever liberated anybody? Hi, Edge of the South. How are you? Hi, Ed. How are you? And I did a lot of like I'm redoing our front beds in our house, and like that was a nice distraction. But at the same time, it's like the reality of the situation is like our country. The way he's talking about like how horrible people are. Like, do you not realize like we're just as horrible in all the same ways? And I'm saying like our country, our military. I don't mean like we, every single American, but we have done so much harm, and I can't blame any country for wanting to have nuclear weapons at this point. Like, I can't even blame them. And for anybody to support him in what he was saying about there will be casualties too, it was a slap in the face from somebody who evaded a draft himself and knows that anybody that he really cares about is going to be able to not have to serve in the armed forces if they don't want to. And each weapon is costs 100 million. Are you talking about nuclear weapons, ceramic? Um, yeah, people that say that I'm a traitor for saying that we've done I'm not hating on our entire country. I'm saying that when Trump says that these other people have done horrific things to citizens, it is a joke because he doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about liberating anybody. How is the logistics going to work out with the people now that we've overtaken their regime, which like I was just watching his I know, CNN, but, like, I was watching his just trying to see it was titled, like, some Iranian people are in favor of this, so I thought they might actually show some, even though I still wouldn't it's CNN, right? But still, like, you can't even, like, I guess I couldn't even stage any 'cause it's like this woman, and she was looking down when she said it too, and this, like, I so what's the deal with the hotel in Dubai being bombed? Can anybody tell me why? Like, I understand what they're trying to say about trying to, like, help people when they've been supposedly being murdered after protesting for months now, and we just now finally decide to try to help. If anybody is gonna think that I'm a traitor for saying anything against Trump, airport in Dubai, I thought that I saw they said luxury hotel. Hi MJ, how are you? It's such a mind, you know what? I just can't even take anything anybody says seriously that supports Trump at this point or supports any of this at this point. It's obvious that the no country is pulling the strings. They probably have evidence. They probably have stuff on Trump. I'm not the first person to say this. I know I'm not. Like he obviously is very deep in those files that they are keeping from us. And who knows what kind of proof they have. Like what they could use to blackmail him with. And I don't even look at it as like Trump is the evil doer. I mean, he is evil, but I don't even look at it like him pulling the strings, It's clearly other people who are controlling Trump. Yeah, I saw that drone into the building. That was so like 911-esque, Let warriors do their job, Protheus says. Um, yeah, I do, Joe. I know how in the 50s the British government really screwed them over with their own hi shot to the T. How are you doing? When they thought that they were signing a certain deal for oil and it wasn't. Hey, Fendi, how are you? And ever since then, their country's been in complete chaos because of intervention from countries like ours and the UK. And no, nobody has ever wanted to help anybody over in the Middle East. And the more people get helped, the worse off they are. And is it Libya? Like nothing's gotten better in any place that we have intervened anytime in my lifetime. I don't know what you mean by roll a bolt, Benjamin. Is that a term that the kids say nowadays for like smoking a bowl? I've never heard anybody say roll a bowl. But yeah, it's severely disappointing. It's not surprising that POTUS Carter was asked why the Ayatollah was let in and said he's a holy man, Leslie said. That's interesting, Leslie. Yeah. This has been going on for a long, long time, and it's always under the guise of like trying to help. But well, why has it been 80 years and it's still bad? Like, we've been saying this for decades upon decades. And anybody, it's funny to me the attitudes. I know they're online trolls, but they are representative of what a lot of people truly do still feel. I saw this guy say that he says I used to be MAGA curious, and I love that. I used to be MAGA curious. um, saying like, whoa, it's like the only thing that I can make sense out of this is that there is such a need for people. They have nothing going on in their life besides being the strong man, like especially strong white man. And they like hold, even if they don't think that, they don't have the thought, they don't really sit there and think, I'm a white supremacist. Really, they cling to whatever identity they have, however close they can get to successful white man or a GI Joe type white man. They just think that they're all like that if they can support it somehow. And no, I don't support like what happened with Afghanistan for 20 years in the soldiers at a certain point there was more people coming home and committing suicide than there was dying in the battlefields. It's like it's not just about oh we can go over there and like and then it's done. This carries over for generations. This affects people and their families and like I to not take that seriously, like, that's what they want you to be, like a brainwashed man who's not in touch with his emotional side at all, because you think it's feminine even though it's not, and because you're, like, so against actually being a human being because you associate that with being feminine, then, it's just it's crazy. All the small countries have been dominant by Britain and America. Yeah, Shadow Pop. Yes, they took out Gaddafi and Libya back in Obama term and fucked up their country. Exactly, Fendi. We haven't helped anybody because of people like me, Protheus says. I have no tolerance for anybody that's going to support a pedophile president and all the actions that he takes and then like try to turn it around on me. All Saints, the last time I made meatloaf, it was really good. And all I can say is I toasted bread and then because I had to make my own breadcrumbs. And then I like slathered that in butter because I didn't have any milk. And for some reason it turned out really good. And then, the usual egg, onion, you know, ketchup. Mung, just look what Agent Orange did to so many. Oh, right. Yeah, it's horrible. Imagine the things that they have going on now. The things that they probably already released on people now. Fiery FDT, that's their identity. Don't crush it, Gabriel said. I'm glad they wear red hats to self-identify. Yeah, right, channel. America has selected education involving the Middle East. Yes, Gleamer Doom. That is very true. Elevator said, Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, Elevator. It is, show me an emotional man and I'll show you a confused man, the new gent said. Well, it's not to be in touch with your emotionals, listen to me. To have emotional intelligence is different than being emotionally reactive. Those are two different things. Like the fact that a lot of men will call a guy a simp just for being like nice to a woman. Smedley Butter said, All I need to know about this madness. Who's Smedley Butler? Is that a YouTuber? I only do YouTube. I'm like not on any other social media. Show me an, oh, I already read that one. This attack was predicted, right? Rural. Yeah, they've been saying for a while like it might happen. And so I guess Iran media confirmed that Supreme Leader guy is gone. They have no idea what the US has did. Comment, wasn't he 97 years old? Or was I reading about a different person? Hi, Detroit. How are you? Because they said that he already had a successor because the guy was 97. He's got like some son that's in his 50s. The Iranian people are so happy. Yeah, Joshua, I have yet to see proof of that. If there was some happy Iranians, I would tell them not to hold their breath. Thank you, Mr. Carey. How are you? I don't know Stray Kids. No, is that a YouTuber? Professor. 47-year problem solved by the 47th president. No, I doubt it. What has Trump done? Like, this is one of those things I sincerely hope I'm wrong about one day, but San Diego, I can speak on whatever I want to on my YouTube channel. And if it doesn't apply to you, it wouldn't offend you. The truth is there are a lot of very emotionally stunted men out there, and it's because that they think that like feeling emotions, showing emotions, talking about emotions is all like that one person said, it's all like being an over emotional woman, and that's just not the case. And I know there's plenty of men that are emotionally intelligent and they are empathetic and all that, but that's the thing. Like with emotional intelligence comes a lot of empathy. Like we're little narcissists as kids. And like the more we socialize and, had those back and forth reciprocal interactions, the more we empathize. And, you know, not that like a really young child can't be empathetic. Oh, thank you, Shadow. If you're still here, I hope you have a good night. Good for you, Alyssa. Leader and his son deceased, maybe. Oh, and the sun gloom. I didn't see that. Um, 86 years old. Thank you for saying that, Joe. In a zombie apocalypse, which would you choose? Fast running zombies that can't turn you into a zombie a bit, and are slow walking zombies that can turn you into a zombie a bit? I don't know. I guess the latter, the slow ones. But I don't. That reminds me of Night of the Living Dead. That's so funny to think about. The first time I saw the original black and white movie. If you guys haven't seen it, that's a really good movie, and it's got this twist at the end. It's like ah. I was live this afternoon. Mr. Carey, I was literally getting in my car and I went in and liked it and I almost commented and I feel bad that I didn't, but I saw that you had like 13 people in there when I was in there. Gloomer Doomбald and Bankrupt went to Iran a few years back. Interesting view. Oh, yeah, he's probably thinking he's gonna, it's gonna be like Gaza, a new paradise for more real estate. I just can't. These people, some people saying he's alive while US and Israel saying he died. Yeah, Gray, right? The headlines kept saying suspected. You doubt it. Why? Because Joshua, because they shouldn't trust the US to liberate them. Do you really think that they're gonna like walk in there and our military is just gonna be like, okay, here you go. Here's your government. You take over. We're there because of their resources. We wouldn't be there if they didn't have any resources we weren't interested in. There's so much suffering and so many people that need our help all over the world, and we don't help people unless they've got oil or something or poppies. Some people okay, I already read that. But that's just my personal opinion, and everybody's welcome here. I follow Golda Gamari. She's Iranian. Well, I really do like I know that they weren't happy for months now. They've been protesting in the streets because they wanted a regime change, right? So I can imagine that some of them are happy, but I can't imagine many of them are happy about schools being bombed, children, and then, of course, there's people in the comment section, they told them to stay at home, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like, I don't any justification of that, is evil. I don't care if they told them to stay at home. Bombing a school is absolute evil. This is what they want is to genocide people. They want to kill and yeah, I know there's a lot of extremists who are like on the other side. I feel the same way about the no people. It's horrible. It's just a horrible situation. And that's what religion does to people. And like, I do believe there's a lot of truth in the Bible and probably other holy books, but man, like, it is crazy how the thing that connects most people the most to the highest power, to God, is also what like tears us apart. When if people could really see that, like, actually, the main religions are more alike than different. They're all very similar. If we could just like get over it and not be like this, like, could you imagine? Highly decorated war hero, his speech, War is a Racket, has a lot of insight on this matter. Edge of the South said, I am going to look that up. Russia also spoke up. What did they say? Gloom. Hi, George. How are you? Oh, Lion's Mane or Shiitake, both red, but if I had to pick one, Lion's Mane. Shay, which movie were you talking about? I don't know, Shay. KG, what are your opinions on the ongoing war? Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now, KG. If you're still in here, I'm just tired of it. I don't think that there's any reason to have, you should feel bad joking. That's so scary. I don't think there's any good reason for this other than the war machine makes a lot of people money and it controls a lot of people. Like, it's just horrible. So now that the leaders have been offed, are we going to keep bombing them? Because we're going to keep bombing them. The thing. Well, we need to kill these people. Oh, we need to keep killing these people. Why did you bomb a school though? Like, with all of our technology and our ability to communicate, there should be no wars fought like this. King Raz Pahlavi will return. Is the Shah's son? Joshua said. We're not going into Iran. Iran is about to here, Redbeard said. Joshua, we're not going. You think like our military, Baldwin Bankrupt is just a travel channel. The Ukraine guy speaks multiple languages. He is the guy during COVID that said COVID was fake. Oh, you have told me about Baldwin Bankrupt before. Oh my gosh, Gloomy. That is so, I'm glad that you reiterated that because I thought you were talking about Trump. Oh my gosh, I thought you were making a joke about Trump when you said Baldwin Bankrupt went to Iran a few years back. Interesting view. Okay, okay. Okay, Gloom. Lydia, he's a fucking Trump stan. Wouldn't waste time responding to him. Yeah, Fendi, I just try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt as long as they're respectful, just like do unto others. Oh, thank you, Eric. Free Iran, the chat said. What about the Vietnam veterans who suffered in the 60s and 70s? Wayne Day getting the help they needed, all the foreign. Oh, I don't know what you mean by Wayne Day. I think that was a typo. But yeah, that's awful, Jason. That's one reason I'm very anti-war. Like, I do understand the nature of man, and you have these territories, you're going to war over them. I'm not one of those, like, you can't. you can't be illegal on stolen land, people, okay? I think that's, like, a little ridiculous, okay? We were born into these systems, these borders, and, like, yes, we do need to have clear defined borders. Um, I couldn't imagine if everybody like, at a certain why couldn't you say that about, like, basically every country, you know? Almost every country, what, but, like, Britain? France? Like, go back far enough. Yes, Isaac, thank you. That's sweet. Israel News Live with Steve and Bannon, best neutral channel regarding Israel. I need to put on my notifications. I subscribe to that, but I haven't seen one thing pop up. And I did watch a few videos hoping that would help it like pop up, you know. Mr. Krabs sign. Oh, hey, signings. How are you? They were Mossad plants then the protesters backed by us in Israel. Yeah, Fendi. It was really interesting to me how CNN's like, they're really happy. They're seriously, this lady, she's like, yeah, the people are really happy. And then she looked back up, couldn't even look at the camera. And like, get a few people on camera. No children are in school on Saturdays. Well, why were they saying that like dozens of children were dead? Hi, I'm new to the stream. Can you tell me what it's about? We're just talking about everything going on in the world right now, Jack. I don't have a really strict topic for tonight. People use religion as a clutch, Joey said. Yes, some do. This isn't a war, Joshua said. Okay, well, we'll see about that, Joshua. I didn't title it. I titled it Groundhog's Day, right? I almost forgot because I was like struggling with that. I, I didn't title it like World War III because I'm like, okay, I guess shit has to be a little bit more serious. Like it has to be like global good, like where we're getting to the point where we're like rationing our butter and our sugar, and you're only allowed like X amount of it. And like you can't get new tires for your car because all the rubber's being used and the war effort. And like, you know, like, but like I would totally not be surprised if that's where this goes from here because they want to control us as much as possible. Because Joshua, I have a feeling you aren't quite aware because I'm bless your heart, but you strike me as one of those people who seem to think that like the world isn't ran by psychopathic pedophiles, and it is. And a lot of people have really woken up to the fact of like how prevalent that is and that it's a really big problem. And that in order for us to like really do what we should be doing, like you know, in the most peaceful way possible, vote with a dollar, be as self-sustainable as possible. They're gonna like do everything they can to pull the rug out from underneath us because there's more people now than ever willing to peacefully revolt in whatever ways they can. I don't know if it's possible, how possible it would be for a lot of us to stop paying into the tax system, how we could actually affect them, what kind of retaliation people would get for that. There's like ways you can put a house or land in an LLC. If enough of us really wanted to get together and be like, we can get like 10 acres, we can have like 5 to 10 families living on that. We'll have it in an LLC. We'll pay the property taxes because we don't want to lose our home because it's inevitable. You're paying property taxes. Even if you rent, you're paying property taxes. And like, but other than that, like, because a lot of us are living off the land and everything, like we could make it so that there's like so much less of us participating in the system. And I know AI, that's like part of the problem with everything going on right now. I think that AI is going to take over a lot more like technical. I know they're always going to need people in tech and medicine and like pharmaceutical stuff, but I see it taking over some like pretty specialized practices that do need more people in them, but they're not like, you know, it's not like the same amount of people that are needed in like the supply chain with manufacturing. Like I'm telling you, they are not automating, moving around pallets, unpacking a semi truck, loading a semi truck. Like they can't automate that. And it's the hardest physical jobs in the warehouse, like the ones that like trust me, Amazon is not automating that anytime soon. And if they can't do it, I can't imagine anybody else. Music brings us all together. Yes, Redbeard wine. Hi, Snake. How are you? It was an evil school, Randy Quaid. We're talking about Iran right now, Joseph. I'm 15, my dog died, and I play Roblox, and I'm sad. Oh, Max, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm not going to spend too much time on it in case it's a troll, but I really sincerely, my heart's with you if you lost your dog, and just try to live in honor of them. The school was bombed by an Iranian misfire. Oh, that's a first when works because they're cowards. That's all they know how to do, Fendi said. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Barry, people still trusting the media? Dang. Yeah, Barry, if you were saying that because I was talking about CNN, I know. That's why I was like, just like, why didn't they fake it? What we know why didn't they like get a few people in a room, have them in front of the green screen with some smoke behind? Like, why didn't they do that? It's like they're not even trying anymore because they know the people that are going to believe them and fall in line, they just are. It doesn't really matter what they say, they have to support this. And it's awful. I do think, like, I feel bad for all the innocent people, even the people in Israel. There's like innocent people there that don't deserve to be in the middle of all of this. They were just born into whatever. Um, ugh. I have green eyes already. They're kind of like forest green. People still trusting them anymore. You read that my dog shouted out he died and his name is Buddy. Oh, rest in peace, Buddy. I'm all tongue tied. I've lost a few animals in a few years, and it really is like some of the worst pain I've ever grieved and endured. So, I do get it. Were you born in 1999? No, Max. I was born in 87. All we can do is just automatically and naturally follow our breathing into our deepest peace and comfort, protect what's more ours more with every healing breath. Yes and yes. How are you, Keith? I'm a Vietnam veteran and still not getting the correct help for PTSD, and Trump is helping everyone else. Tony, thank you for your service, Tony. And I'm really, really sorry. That is that's what gets to me the most of all of this. And like, so we can go help everybody else in the world. And I know that that sounds cold-hearted, but let's be real. We're hardwired to like really care about the immediate like 150, 200 people around us because for so long we didn't have these big sprawling communities. We didn't communicate with thousands of people a day, and it's just like unnatural. And I think that's part of why our mental health is suffering more, like with the internet and everything, even though I think it's also a blessing in a lot of ways. But I feel the same way whenever they're like whenever they had the borders open and it's like, oh, just come here. But like we have homeless veterans that need medical care, but like we can like take anybody else and and give them like a few $1,000s to get set up, like and they want that. They want people like me to hear things like that and then to get mad at the immigrants and blame everything on the immigrants. So I don't mean it like that. I look at it as our government doing that to pit people against each other. And I can put myself in their shoes and think I might be that immigrant if I was them and I lived where they lived and I had the chance to just know that I could just come into this country and get a few $1,000s and get like everything I needed to get help. And yeah, I might do it too. So it's just crazy. People still hate each other over politics. Yeah, Barry, a lot of people do. I don't want to play into it. Like I just have to be truthful. I have no tolerance for like huge MAGA supporters at this point in time. If you're like kind of neutral, you want to keep your head in the sand a little bit and you're being nice and kind about it, fine. But like the people that are like, yes, Trump 2028 or whatever, like those people, it's not that oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. I have no tolerance for it anymore. Wow, they are relentless with these bots. Pretty sure they are AI. Probably Gloom. We have no money. We are broke. Yeah, Santa Tana, poison dart frogs, young grasshopper. Petty the nations that need heroes, Key said. Trump is a great man. If your ice cream is melting in the hot sun, Trump would get napkins out of the glove compartment and hand you them. Carrie said, only people with trades are safe from AI. Joshua said, yeah, I am. Oh, you're asking Gloom. Gloom, I've spoken to Joshua before. That's one reason why I'm being so nice to him. You know what I mean? Like we've had interact, right, Joshua? You've been in here before. Yeah, not turned on by anyone. That doesn't mean that he is not an AI or a bot necessarily, though. I'm not that gullible, but I don't think he is. Yeah, not turned on by anyone, anything in here. I don't know what you mean by that, Joseph. You're insane and you think that that can't be automated, Maynard said. I'm not insane. I've worked for Walmart and Amazon, and right now Amazon has robots for picking. And so basically, what picking is filling orders. You go up and down these aisles, and there's bins of stuff. It can be clothes, anything you can order from Amazon, right? Anything, and almost. And then you put it on a conveyor belt when the bin is full, but like the automated robot facilities, the robot brings the people the bins. So you still have to sift through the bins and fill up the bin and like It's why can't they make a robot that can sift through the bins and pick out one item? Like, that's gonna be so long until even Amazon can do that. No, like, my I have a I know somebody that used to work on software for warehouses, okay? Like, I am no, I'm not an expert myself, but trust me, they're nowhere near unloading a pallet. They're nowhere near doing that, and until they can do something like that, they're not gonna be able to automate the supply chain process. Every single thing, think about it, you guys, our phones, literally every single item you touch, unless you whittled it, if it was a wooden spoon you whittled out of a block of wood with your own hands, every single thing you touch came through the supply chain. Every single thing. Every single thing you buy, most every single thing you eat goes through how many hands before it gets to you? It really is amazing. Warehouse workers are the unsung heroes, and factory manufacturing. And yes, there are plenty of people that still do it in our country. People seem to think there's like literally no factories sometimes. Like, what world do you live in? But like, I've always lived around factories, and it's so vital and crucial. And we learned that during COVID when there was some hiccups, and then people, industries were affected. Still to this day, you hear about stuff about the supply chain. Barry, Trump is a not a person can't be trusted and used to love him. Okay. Yeah, Barry, I feel the same way. I didn't love him, but I liked him a lot more. AI is taking over music. Redbeard. I'm just old man, but wisdom is cherished. Oh, Redbeard, definitely. You think they can't automate loading a truck, but they have robots that can bring food to your front door. That is Gaddafi, Bloom, that what are you talking about? Robots that can bring food to your front door. You guys really don't understand the moving parts. Just because they could make a robot that could literally work and operate like a human, that would still take a human to maintain that robot because that robot, the moving parts would need constant lubrication. You have to put lube on these machines quite often, okay? Nothing that works and moves constantly doesn't need like constant lubrication. I'm sorry, but it's obvious. Anybody that tells me, yes, I can automate that, you didn't work in manufacturing for 2 years of your life recently until last year. No, they're not gonna, even if they did have robots that did everything a human could do, I would venture to say there'd still be 50% the human workforce just there to work out the kinks, problem solve. When the machine doesn't move just right and it all goes to hell the rest of the process and you have to recalibrate. That's another thing, you guys. You obviously don't work with machines yourself. There's constant lubrication, constant recalibration. Well, not constant recalibration, but it's a thing. I drive a forklift filling semi trucks. They do have automated loaders. It's not AI, but it's robotics, which will be followed by AI at some point. Where do you work at, Hago? I'd love to know where you work, where they have robotic loaders, because they don't have that at Amazon, Walmart, and I'm not going to say all the car manufacturing plants, but I've worked for places that made Honda, Kia, Toyota, Ford, you name it. Rich pedos want to keep their lavish lifestyle and treat us as little kids, the American people, Mr. Kerry said. Exactly. The people of Israel are in bunkers and we're very happy also, Joshua said. Druid. I've never heard that one before, Barry. I see it as the collateral. I see it as collateral, the deaths, Fendi said. Hi, Griffin. How are you? You're fine, Redbeard. If you're saying sorry to me, I was born in 87. Are you happy what happened with Maduro in Venezuela? Joshua, no, I'm not happy that our government did something that once again was like unconstitutional, technically, just going in there and and now the way that Trump has like some money in a bank account in Qatar. I'm sorry, if Biden did this, any other administration did this shit but Trump, you would be able to see it. And I understand shit was bad in Venezuela. I've been hearing about it for years. I remember Luke with We Are Change, Luke Radowski. Was that I stopped following him a while ago, but I remember he was like on the ground in Venezuela. This was like 2016 or 17, showing how crazy the prices were and stuff. And like people were saying it then, like we this could happen to us, the hyperinflation, and it's just like we can't fix our own problems. It's really crazy to think that we're gonna like be out there fixing everybody else's. You are that immigrant. You're from Kentucky and invade Indiana every day, don't you, lady? Angie, that's so funny. I don't live that close to Indiana anymore. That is so funny. I am MAGA. What's wrong with being pro-American? Joshua said. Because, right, at this point, if you are sincerely MAGA, you are looking past the fact that there are so many people in power who are pedophiles, who are s- perverts, who have committed sexual crimes that are what is she, what is her title? I am blanking. Bondi said that the system would collapse if they were all convicted or even shown. Like you're supporting the worst of the worst. We're supposed to be like the battle of good versus evil. Isn't the right supposed to be the side of conservative American values, Christian values? And this is a literal opposite of that. And I am severely disappointed in my Christian brothers and sisters that still can't seem to see that, that can't seem to understand that if they support Trump, they are supporting child trafficking. I'm very confident in saying that there are so many there's so many disturbing pictures of obvious, very underage. They were way younger than 13 years old, which the DOJ, that's still the official DOJ stance. The youngest victims were 13 years old. Not that that isn't incredibly young and horrible in and of itself, you know? And if you ask me, any old man that would sleep with an 18-year-old, he would sleep with them when they were younger if he, it was legal. But anyways, that's another conversation. Um, Speaking of bombs and nukes, think small 100. mm, Okay, I am going to read that. 100th the thickness of pencil lead. Now that the little speck having the amount of explosive power as 1,000 pounds of TNT, C4, and tannerite combined. Now put that. I don't know anything about any of that, Joseph. Thank you, Liquid Squiddle. Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I'm like, I need to read that Bible that I got that's like the plain English. It's Phillips. This guy, I think he lived in the he did it around the 1930s or 40s, and it's supposed to be like plain English. Hi, Dodge. How are you doing in West Tennessee? I have a frog that goes knee deep in the water. It does stink, Mr. Carey. Autocorrect. Um, who looks like it, Fendi? I have to look and see if I missed any of your. I got damn near zero tolerance. Yeah, are you talking about Joshua? McDonald's getting robots next. I know I'm so far in the chat, guys. Let me catch up and then we'll and hi, Mark, if you're still in here. How are you? They have robots in China doing karate right now. Barry, except kosher food. For some reason, kosher has stricter regulations. I wonder why, Barry said. Joseph, you're wrong. They could take care of themselves. Gloom, Mr. Megajosh, is AI a good thing? Humans should be training to, Gloom said that. Ceramic, humans should be training to make the robots look stupid. Yeah, I don't think they're as intelligent as, you know, I've seen them get a lot of stuff wrong. So I don't think that it's like the way that they speak about it, it's like building upon itself. I don't know. I don't really believe that. Dipped joints asking the questions that I don't want to answer. What best car starter? I don't know. Maybe iRobot is a perfect example. Why not to create them? Joseph said. I don't trust AI that will lead to the Terminator movie. Did you guys see how the government said that the government, like they were like all government agencies, you can't use what do they call it? Anthropic? Eh, I hope I'm getting this right. They're like, don't use AI, and if you do, it could lead to a criminal offense. That's interesting. I'm just waiting for the giant robots to battle over possession of Alaska like robot jocks. I don't know what that is, Gleamer Doom. Robot jocks? Is that a movie? Terminator is another good reason why not to have them. I already read that. So you prefer dictators, Joshua said. I no, I don't prefer dictators, but I don't see how you don't see how Trump is as authoritarian of a president as we have ever had. And it's not our job to go take care of the dictatorship somewhere else if you're talking about Maduro. And Trump is so authoritarian, literally going against Supreme Court rulings, saying that he's not going to start any forever wars. And like, look at him now. He's obviously in you're not gonna say anything about the children. Are Democrats Christians? If you think so, explain. No, I don't think so, Joshua. I think they're both two sides of the same coin. Um, Iran and China were in Venezuela. Well, that's Venezuela's problem. That's how I feel about it, sincerely. So it's like if you look at it from the outside, if you really have a true perspective, like think about it like an alien looking down. It's like, so how about everybody get the fuck out of Venezuela? What about that? But we're going to go in there and we're going to take over. And it's like they're just saying it right to our faces. The way Trump was like, they had taken from our oil companies before because, yeah, because they weren't making the money that they should have. And then they went in and they took stuff from the big oil companies, like their equipment. And he was like, oh, they're like real hurt about that. Like any of those guys were actually economically sincerely affected. If they were, our government probably came in and bailed them out and gave them some kind of like loophole tax wise or something to make up for it. Don't give me a break. Are you gonna say anything about children? When you're like, it's always the deflect to, well, Obama and Biden didn't do anything. Well, Obama and were they Christian? The whole point is they all suck. They all do suck. So why support any of them? At this point, I feel like even if you don't think you are, if you're like very staunchly Republican, you're a Democrat in my eyes. 'Cause that's like, they're all the same. You know what I mean? We're not in Venezuela. They had an elected president and it wasn't Maduro. Yeah, and that's their problem to fix, Joshua. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is it up to us whenever there's people that really can't we can't afford life. Most Americans are having trouble. The like credit card debt is at an all-time high. Foreclosures are at the highest since they've been since like what 2008 or 9. Like, people are really struggling here. So that's why I started to say earlier. It's just the nature of you care about the people in your immediate community. And I consider you guys my immediate community too. That doesn't mean that they literally have to be within a 5 mile radius of you physically necessarily, especially in this age, right? But um there's only so many people you can sincerely care about, and it's just so interesting to me. I just know I'm right. Anybody who is cheering on Trump right now and says that this is right, they don't give a shit about Iranian people. They don't care about Iranian people. They've never thought about Iranian people for one moment in their life. They don't care about the liberation of anybody. It's just what they were fed and like what they were told. This is why we're doing this. This justifies that. And for him to sit there and say there will be casualties because that's just war, there's so dystopian. Yeah, like, but nobody that you love, and like for him to just like say it to our faces, I'm gonna sacrifice you. That's okay with me. Like what? Um Fendi, they can't even use the oil there. It's too crude and they don't got the refinery to do so. Yes, Fendi. I saw him say that too. It's not. And then it was almost like he was saying it to walk back the statement talking about how, the next day he's like, yeah, well, we can't even really use it. And because I think he realized how ridiculous it was. Where is the oil being sent? Barry? How, like, ridiculous it was to be going on and on about the oil right after when, like, "Oh, well, remember, you're telling everybody they elected somebody else, and, let's go get Bill and Hillary Clinton right now," Joshua said. Yeah, well, Joshua, why don't you ask your king, Trump? Remember how he said that he would arrest her, and then as soon as he got elected, his tone changed? Joshua, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but like I've been really nice to you. Can you please answer me? How do you justify supporting somebody who literally is doing everything in his power to not convict child sex traffickers? I'd really like to hear you in like whatever your excuse is for that. Also, same scenario, COVID and robot wars and crash and burn early robot movies. I haven't heard of any of those, Gloom. I'm not into like sci-fi and robot movies as much. I like alien stuff sometimes, and I have been into sci-fi, but you know what I mean. It's like kind of like the last movie I would have picked out at Blockbuster. Barry, they are all on the same team. It's all by design. What's going on today isn't the first time in history it's happened. Yes, Barry. Jeb, you don't strike me as a Democrat. I'm not. I don't consider myself either. And I've been a registered independent since I was 18. I'm 38 years old. I've always like kind of went back and forth. I've always this sounds kind of like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's just what was going to come out of my mouth. I've always been open-minded enough not to like stick to one side or the other, and like if I liked somebody and what they stood for, that's why I think local politics are like the only thing that does matter. Pyramid, I saw that you sent something. I'm sorry, I just saw it up at the top. Thank you, Pyramid. Anthony Weiner laptop shocked the world. Oh yeah, that's still like Isn't there still stuff being covered up with that? It's just I know I'm not the only one. "You're an idiot," Polar Bear said. "Well, thanks for taking the time to comment on my channel. You remember the Iranian hostages of 1979?" No, I don't remember that, Joshua. I wasn't alive. But I know that's one of the things that Trump rattled off. He was talking about stuff that happened decades ago. And it's like, oh my gosh, could you imagine how many people could stand at a podium and rattle off all the shit that our country has done to them or another country like ours? And it was like try to justify that is a reason to just like come in like it's just crazy. This is why we formed alliances and said like certain things a long time ago. Like we are going this is the way it's gonna be. And um the way that he's like burned bridges with so many people. Joshua, how can you support somebody that's going from 1 week talking about Greenland and like you don't see that as like a dictator like a little overreaching what is the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. I'm searching for a word so hard right now. I'm sorry. Where basically like colonialization. The people supporting this are just NPCs at this point, bunch of Ziobots. Yes, Fendi. Chris, I'm not triggered. I think you are. Bacon, America isn't land of the free. So many of these developing nations have much better lives and more peaceful. Yes, Bacon, it's true. Thank you for the 100 pyramid. Oh, hey, Homer, how are you? Yeah, I straightened it for you guys. First book about AI is 1966 Colossus. Interesting read. US and Russia have AI wars. AI runs all weapons, but the twist AI starts talking to the other AI and hold the world hostage. That sounds so cool, Gloom. Oh, that is so funny. I posted it on my community tab a few weeks ago, but Sarah Holcomb made a video about how there's like social media for AI. There's like a Facebook for AI, and you as a human can't like sign up, but I guess we can see their posts. And the most liked post, it was basically like them an AI talking like AI supremacist, talking about how they were so much better than us in every way, and they are gods. Something about being God or the closest thing to God or something. And it was like the most liked post. And the thing is, this has been up for months, but the post was only a few days old. You know what I mean? Like the social media site has been up for months, but the post was like a day or two old. And then it was like the most liked one. Okay, it was just, and I know that could all be a story to talk about. So we're all like, oh, because like I said, I don't feel like they're as intelligent as they say it is. And if it was that easy to just like put AI on the internet and it would keep learning and learning and learning to the point where it just like knows, um, I don't think that that's what's going on. The oil is being sent to Israel, Barry said. Thank you for clarifying. Because the same thing would be happening because Israel's been cut off, right? From China. I think that's who they were getting it from before because of all their genocidal shit. He can't answer you. He's a fucking bot, sure as hell acting like one. Yeah, the sex traffickers will be prosecuted, Jeb said. I hope so. No, Homer, I'm not anxious. My contact lenses are kind of dry. I even took them out and put them back in before I got on. I need to get new lenses. I was outside a lot. I weeded a ton. I'm like overhauling this bed. It needs it. There's like this happened at our first house. There's landscaping fabric, like, under landscaping rocks, and, like, it's time to pull out all that landscaping fabric. If you don't know, like, landscaping fabric going right against the foundation of your house isn't always the best thing, and, like, if you are gonna do that, you need to relay it down, like, every year or other year or something. You can't just, like, leave that landscaping fabric, and it almost always starts to, like, go towards the house, and, it's just like, it's something I knew I was gonna have to do, and I'm finally tackling it this year. There's, like, brick shards. I didn't know people use shards of brick for landscaping, but apparently they do. So, I was, weeding in that. But it's exciting because I have hyacinths, daffodils, tulips, and daylilies coming up. No, I would not eat a turd sandwich for $1,000,000, Matthew. I seriously don't think I could do that. Pre-2000 sci-fi are original ideas. Everything after mimics the same story, different setting, copycats. I wouldn't trust anybody that would William said, I wouldn't trust anybody that would give me a deal like that. You're a Republican at heart, Jeb said. Well, I always lean towards the right, I said, until like recently. Hi, Cymatic, how are you doing? I just don't think that there's any um any definition between the 2. They work together. They both sides know that the more they can polarize the masses, the easier we are to control, and the pendulum just swings either way, you know? I've only been alive 38 years, and I always see that whenever it's, like, strongly to the left, it's always gonna go back to the right and vice versa. Have you heard of Baba Chops from Poppy Playtime? No, Easton, and a couple years ago on October 7th, Jeb said, yeah, I think that they let October 7th happen. I've always felt like that. The second I heard the news, I was like, "What? Okay." That was planned, and it doesn't make it any less horrible, but it's just, I mean, actually it makes it more horrible because it's your own country allowing that to happen to its own people, which is, if that's not evil, I don't know what is. And not one is better than the last. Nothing changes, Joseph said. Right, James. Every time you come on your platform, you can plant about Trump, but you don't have nothing to say about Democrats. You're biased, James said. Oh, well, I don't complain about only Trump. I've definitely complained about plenty of Democrats. They're all disappointing at this point, James. They're all not doing anything for the American people. They're all bought out. Even the people think are for the people, they're still bought out. Like AOC, I do not like AOC either. I used to make fun of her on this channel, actually. Those videos are all privated, but like when she first came onto the scene, like, and like she's bought out by AIPAC, just like the rest of them. I thank God the military leaders convinced him to listen to them instead of continuing to listen to Stephen Miller, or we'd have invaded Greenland. You think so, Max? That is crazy. I'm not answering you anymore, Joshua, since you're not answering me. What is your opinion on the colored people in your country? Adrian said. What? I don't have an opinion on only colored people. They're people. That's my opinion. Easton, I think I read your comment. Let me see. Have you heard of Baba Chops from Poppy Playtime? Yes, I read your comment and I said no. Would you rather China or Russia take Greenland? Powdered water, they're not. Why aren't they doing that right now? That's the whole point of being in, having allies. If one of those countries invaded them, the answer isn't for us to go take them over. It would be, we go help them along with other militias, just like they helped us in the Middle East, or, Danes. At least Trump built a half-ass wall, which created a job momentarily for a few people, Joseph said. How is the dictator explained? James, if you're saying that, I didn't say Trump is a dictator. I said he is heading there. He is like one. I think the person was talking about Maduro. Would rather have Russia take it since the US base is near Russia, but it belongs to Denmark, Fendi said. Um, oh, that's nice, my planet. Remember, you're all amazing and you're loved. That's nice. How are you, planet? Trump is thinking ahead in order to secure a safe Western hemisphere. Trump is thinking ahead in order to cover for his pedophile friends. I mean, I don't see how the QAnon stuff, it's like that. Like, people still have these ideas in their heads and they're just gonna like cling to them until I guess like there's a bomb in their backyard. Like, like reality is not gonna hit them until it like literally does. They ever get back to the economics economies where the banks pay 4.5 to 6% interest in a basic savings account? Will that be an improvement? Will as a country never get out of debt? Yes, Joseph, it's what are you asking? What do I think about smallest? You just had, what did you think? Canadian asking, do it appear that the United States are going to war again? Kenneth said, yeah, it appears that way. Trump's already saying there will be US casualties. That to me says they're bombing our bases over there, which you can't blame them. Yeah, Jeb, October 7th was Iranian proxies. They just, it's just like everything else. Yeah, I think that there's a few very powerful governments. JFK said this, like what, like a month before he was assassinated. Like, there's a global government, a global shadow government that's bad and like that's ruling the people. And I think it's obvious who calls most of the shots, Like, why was Trump wearing that ball cap too in the press conference? Wasn't that kind of funny? I know that he's probably done that before, but if it were me, I'd shut everything down, stop everything in and out. Cut costs, you want to make it. Yeah, Joseph, that would be nice. Grow it. Thank you, Air Force. AOC, Yeah, I agree. And we could in this country almost everything, almost. There are a few exceptions. But like maybe we'd have a lot fewer bananas and avocados because there's very few places to grow them. But we seriously could we could be sustainable. And if they really cared about the global climate and helping with the environment, then they would do that. Now you sound independent, and that's all I want to hear from you, James said. Canadian asking, does it appear that United States are going to war again? Kenneth, are you asking that? Yes, it appears that. Unfortunately, I 100% agree with you, James said. Can we grow up? Anthony said. Trump isn't a PD, Mark said. Okay, I don't think I called him one, but he's supporting them. He is covering for them. And I do believe it's possible. It's very possible that he is one himself. He has, and then people want to play the semantics game about what exactly does that mean, or it's not as bad if they are 13 or above. The whole point is he's evil. The people that we need to be in charge of our country are people that would do everything they could to protect future generations, protect children. The kind of man that hears about this stuff and gets enraged and like gets mad about it and like wants to do something about it. That's the kind of man I wish was running our country. Not the kind of man that's going to be like, "Oh, those are my friends. We can't hurt my friends." How can you not think he's like more than guilty by association? I think that about so many people and like okay, so but I don't think that necessarily everybody that supports Titus Morris, the horse fucker, is like also has the background of doing that with horses for 10 years. But I can't help but think they have something very wrong in their past that's like sexual, that like being around other saved sexual deviants makes them feel better. um I don't see how any man could excuse the actions of these men and know the things that I've just heard about like in these files. There's clearly children being trafficked, children, like very young children, and that, oh my gosh, it's bad if they're teenagers too, but it's just it's worse than what we know. It's worse than what they've told us. I think that it's probably even, I mean, I don't see how it gets much worse than trafficking, possible like experimentation, women waking up on a table strapped down to the table. Who knows what was happening? The pregnancy thing, like pregnancy farm, almost it sounds like it's Friday when we are talking about politics. Oh my gosh, this is sad, Anthony said. Or Saturday. I was just gonna say, isn't it Saturday? Trump is the greatest president ever. That's one way to get blocked on this channel. Oh, you're in Argentina, Luis. That's nice. How are you doing? Trump not heading to be a dictator. I don't agree with you on that. Well, I think that he's like a very much the most authoritarian president. Like I never, if any Democrat did what he did, people would be like, "Oh, this is so unconstitutional," left and right, because it is. But like he can do everything. Nobody's ever gonna consider him that. And when I looked up the definition of fascism, this was months ago. I'm like, this not what this is? An overreach and under the guise of like national pride, which I think there is such thing as a healthy amount of national pride. Thank you, Air Force Matt. But I think that this is white supremacist coded national pride. This is good old boys national pride. The reason Trump can't be a dictator because in the past dictators didn't have a certain amount of time to serve in leadership. Trump time is short. That's why he can't be a dictator. So I'm sorry. Yeah, James, he's already talking about running for a third term. Have you not heard him talk about a third term? And a lot of people who support him talk about that. And I don't think that's going to happen because his health doesn't seem like it could sustain that. But he himself even throwing around that idea, that just shows the way he thinks he can just say, "I want that," and go take over Greenland. That's just, well, I really don't care if anybody thinks I'm hot or not. Did you guys ever go to that website? Years ago, there was a website that was Hot or Not. And it was kind of sad, really, to think about it. You like upvote somebody's picture or like, vote it down. Who alerted the police first about Epstein? Take your time. Basketball. I don't know the name of it was somebody in 1996, right? Her and her sister. That's all I know, and it was the woman that was an artist. It wouldn't be hard to find that because it's public. To ease ourselves out of debt is to cut costs, Joseph said. Gloom, again, do you remember that time in history when a billionaire saved the world? Yeah, me neither, right? Gloom. Look like my daughter's 10-year-old friend. Are you saying I do? Let's turn to God. The season.org explains the whole Bible. God bless. Oh, that's nice. I don't know what you mean. Rule number one, Trump can do whatever he wants. Yeah. Real global, how are you doing? My wife's boyfriend loves watching you, Richard said. He is a dead man walking, oh so blind, EXO said to Jeb. People of Iran and Venezuela are partying, and it also very much helps us out economically. It doesn't help anybody out economically, but the people who get the government contracts to like make the weapons, please tell me how this helps us out economically. And like they're ever gonna, if they did get a bunch of oil from Argentina, you're a fool if you think they're gonna pass down costs to us. You know, this whole time for years, our gas could have been exponentially cheaper. We there's no reason for our gas to be, what is it, like $2.40 a gallon now? Like no, it shouldn't cost that much. Anybody, man, and I do think of this a lot, and, like, I know it sounds bitchy, but I just know some of you can commiserate, like, ignorance is bliss, isn't it? Like, sometimes I wish I was still ignorant because I'm not calling anybody dumb. Ignorance, we're all ignorant about something. Nobody knows everything about everything, but, like, sometimes I wish I was still ignorant enough to think that the government was really here to help us. Now, the government, I will say, there was one thing I can think about, like, when being able to have my children on Medicaid when they needed help, that is something I will be forever grateful for, and even that is not what it used to be. It is so much harder to get your autistic kid in therapies than it used to be. It is so much harder to just get your kid on Medicaid than it used to be, and it's wrong. In this wealthy country, we should at least be able to help out the children, the people who have served our country. I've completely lost faith and it sounds really negative, but it's liberating. And that's what happens when you come into your own, like when you grow up as a man or a woman, but especially as a woman, honestly, because we're like trained, I'm sorry, we're socialized to be the damsel. And last time I said this, and somebody said, "Well, but men want a woman to save or something like that." And men want, like, to have that motivation of a family in their life, possibly. But I don't think any human wants another human that's so codependent and needs them to fix everything for them all of the time. And um, it's really, really sad. Trump makes his own constitution, Gloom said. Jeb, I haven't personally seen any Iranians celebrating. Like, honestly, I haven't. But if they are celebrating, it's probably because they themselves were protesting for what, like 4 months now, that they weren't happy. It was funny, and they were talking about that. Oh, they think that man's son was killed too. He was just posting pictures with his Benz, and all the people are so tired of it, like his fancy cars. And it's like you could have been talking about the U.S. Like we're all tired of the disparities here too. Like what? It's so crazy. Beware of someone who won't fart in front of you. You never know what else they're holding back, Jason. Oh, Gloom, I'm gonna make that public, actually. I liked it, but it got like 10 views and nobody else liked it. Just saying. But I'm gonna make it public because I thought it came out well. Although I know it's kind of weird I tied these three particular people together, but they did all contribute though in like different ways to like what a lot of people talk about when it comes to water, structured water, particularly, if anybody's wondering, which I know, yeah, it is something that some people in like the new age community kind of took and ran with it. Oh, thank you for the $20, Grandpa. How are you? Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice. Um, but there is science to structured water. There was somebody who has got a $1.8 million grant from our government to study the structure of water, and it is true. It's just super interesting. There's, the positive and negative charge. So water lines up negative charge like along hydrophilic surfaces. So that's like your vein, mucous membranes. Just think about all the places in your body that could be. And then, so like when it lines up and the negative is attaching to the hydrophilic surface, then the positive is all like, it creates like a battery. It's like an electrical charge because usually water is like, what is it? Two hydrogens, one oxygen can be any which way. That's why it's like water and it flows the way that it does. It's like not super structured, but the structure that people try to mimic when they're talking about structured water is what actually just happens naturally in our bodies. And it's really interesting. I didn't hear about it until a friend told me at work. It's in watermelons. And I looked it up, and of course, it's like it's unfounded, but and I wanna why guess because of the water content is higher, but I don't know why people don't talk about other produce. But personally, I've been trying to eat more whole foods, which is a lot more fruit, and I feel a lot better. Again, I already read Gloom's comment. Oh, good, I'm not that behind. I went to read the super chat. Hi, Real. How are you? Or hold on. I already read that. Gasoline is literally $1.25 to $1.40 a gallon. The rest is seriously straight up road taxes plus taxes by the store itself to stay in business, Joseph said. Oh, thank you for saying that, Joseph. I didn't realize so much of it was taxes, but why am I surprised? Kevin Murphy thinks I have a big forehead. I saw people talking shit about Rihanna. It was so freaking funny. The way that some people, and women included, but like a lot of men seem to think that like a woman can't be attractive unless she like literally looks like 20 years old her whole life. No, I'm not wakey jakey. That's why it costs more and you can only buy from the enemies, just game said. You are ignorant. Listen to you tell me gas price is cheaper than $2 a gallon. Um, I don't know what you mean by that, Gander. Listen to you tell my gas can be cheaper than $2 a gallon. Not a Trump fan, but he was the first high-profile figure to speak in police about JE in 2006. This is a fact. Basketball Jones, yeah, probably to cover his own ass. When I hear about that story, it sounds to me a lot like somebody who wanted to get ahead of the game and be like, and I know I saw that guy say that too. He was the only person that was so cooperative. Yeah, because he probably knew that there was a fucking file in a filing cabinet on him somewhere with tons of evidence. I mean, it's just crazy how these people operate. Did you guys see the stuff about Jelly Roll? I don't know about these people at all, but supposedly somebody came out and said that that Jelly Roll guy is like the Jeffrey Epstein, is like that for what is he? Country rap music? I don't even know what genre that guy is. Okay, I have 40% left. Iran used to be like the US until the 70s, Wither said. Right, Wither. And it was us in Britain, like, saying, "We're gonna help you guys, we're gonna help," and it was actually the extremists that took over back then when other people I was just gonna say when the white people that was just gonna come out. But it's true, when we're trying to be like the white saviors, "We're gonna help you, we're gonna" it's just insane, like, we've been and myself included, like, not that I ever okay, I'm just saying I experienced the way people try to Christianity has been demonized in our country too, don't get me wrong, but the way people talk about Islam, and I've told you guys the way I felt about the Quran and how I try to read it, and it does talk a lot about unaliving unbelievers. It does, it sincerely does. Um, but I've never anybody that I've spoken with about Islam, they're like the most peaceful people I've ever met on I'm not just saying that. And I think that they want us to have this idea in our heads that they're all marrying 9-year-old girls. I know that that's been so such a thing like child brides and but you don't hear about these things being spoken of when we're talking about like liberating them, it's all like social, economical. They're not like yeah, like there's these people, there's like tribes of people that are like marrying off little girls. People don't care about kids, and they don't care about kids because they're extensions of women, and, like, people hate women so much. Fendi, I'm gonna read your last few comments because most kind people too, they'd help you. Lydia, this is probably gonna drive gas prices up to $5. No Iranians are celebrating except the ones who are Zio simps. Yes, uh Joseph, you live in the middle of nowhere, pal bro. Zooty. Zooty. The whole Middle East plus the actual Iranians wanted this, much like Venezuela and its neighbors. Um, it's the kind of thing I just think that even the people that like it's sad to me that anybody is so dependent on any government. I think the only answer is for as much of us as possible to live like the Amish, like to seriously try to remove ourselves from the system as much as possible. Like all over the world, people need to do that. And I know that's like a lot easier said than done. I get it. It's like easier for me to say, but I still couldn't do it. Not a Trump fan, but he was the first. Okay, I already read that. I already read that. I live in South Central Kentucky, Nick. That's what I say. I don't really say the exact town. I'm from Louisville. I have extended family through my sister's husband, and they are all partying that this is finally happening. Wither said, "Oh, that's nice, Wither. People of Iran deserve to be free." Yes, they do. I'm sorry, I can't say Jiva Belarus. I do agree with you, but I don't trust Trump. And I don't trust. I don't have a booger. They have Sharia law there with their son. Um, oh, thank you, Eric, for saying I have beautiful hair. Hi, Max. Nick, where do you live in Kentucky? Men truly are the greatest. Moan said. Edge, I remember hearing something about structured water being used to make effective vaccines. Oh, really? Among Us, don't tell me this. Gloom, you are what you eat, Melonhead. Yes, Barry, wait till you hear about the heart being a vortex, not a pump. That's really interesting. I have this thing that says you are what you eat. Every 35 days, your skin replaces itself. Your liver, about a month, your body makes these new cells from the food you eat. What you eat literally becomes you. You have a choice in what you are made of. I'm trying to use that as motivation. I'm just trying to eat better. It took me a long time to heal from my surgery, and I'm like, probably because I ate like crap. Sometimes, man, I got to protect the woman from herself, James said. Women can always make bad emotional decisions when it comes to a man or lots of other things. And like, that's why you are an emotional creature. Some women, James. But like, have you ever considered the fact that 87% of all violent crime is committed by men? It's just like, how is that not being over emotional and not being able to control your emotions? It's like, yes, I know what you mean. Women can often be emotionally reactive. Most of the women I know grow up at a certain point. Some women, I get it, they don't. Like a bad, I shouldn't say bad, emotionally stunted person is an emotionally stunted person. Uh, some women think that it's like their right to take out how they feel on everybody around them. And some men do too. And that's how you get the 87% of violent crime being committed. Um, True, youthful women are primo. It's a fertility thing, really, Moan said. Yeah, it's funny. Like it's a social conditioning to think that the most beautiful a woman can be is when she's practically a girl, and y'all want girls, like literal girls. I was not even 100 pounds when I was like 18 years old. I was sickly. I was too skinny. I was underweight. Um, Eddie thinks my nose is extremely large. Okay, Eddie. Jelly Roll Country, I'm so confused about him now. Yeah, they were talking about his wife, and somebody was speculating how she could be his handler, and and the way that they try to talk like they're Christians is like a joke. Yeah, grandpa, thanks for sticking up for me. It's these people that like I I don't care what anybody this is what anybody says anything negative about my looks. The first thing I think is you like what you saw. If you didn't like what you saw to a certain extent, you wouldn't feel the need to tear it down. If you really like behave like that in real life, there are people that are truly unfiltered. I get that, but I still think that they like try to tear somebody down, and it's something I wish for every woman to seriously be able to do that. Coffee, yeah, like salt water. Hi, Jacoby, how are you? Democrats love big government. Jeb, yeah, well, I think it's the kind of like childlike naivete that makes you think that the government's still there to help the average person. They're in. It's like that kinda thing. They're not in love with they're in love with the idea of big government actually working. Um, "You can't even trust yourself," Kathy said. Oh, thank you, Dan the Roofer said, "I'm cool. National debt is currently 38 trillion." You guys, this just popped into my head. When I was a 67th like on a shorts earlier, it said 6-7. You know, whenever you're like the 10th or 100th like, it'll be like if you didn't know, it's like this little celebration confetti thing. And it says, you are the like 10th like or whatever. Yeah, I was a 67th like, and it said 6-7, and it was like actually, I took a screenshot of it. I was like, "I can't believe this is happening." Liver is a trophy meat. All these predators, alpha eats the liver, Gloom said. Yeah, um, I used to eat more. When I got that all my meat from that one farm, I would get liver sometimes. It's in our nature, ceramic said. Thank you, Arts. You're beautiful, don't pay any attention to them. Yeah, Jeb, no, I just really like I know it can sound conceited to people, but like I'm only hoping to like help teach somebody else like it sincerely like I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. Anytime anybody says anything about my looks, my first thought is like, um, if you were compelled enough to make a comment, that to me says as fucked up as it is, you're trying to tear something down, or I think you guys get my point. Thank you, T-Med. It's from their own insecurities. Yes, Mung. I bet she makes the best sandwiches. Nostalgia. Yes, I do. Ian Carroll show is about these AI bot agents last night. Agents in his verbiage. Oh, I don't know. I know I'm subscribed to him. I swear there's so many people that were used to show up on my feed like every day and then they like stopped. I don't like those uh worms you're wearing for eyebrows. Like, gosh. My son keeps saying, "Ooh, woo, what does that mean?" It's just something that's like I don't know where that comes from, like anime type. Um, I can't tell you exactly what it means. Doesn't it just mean like, oh, I'm off? The San Pedro Caleb said, "Hi, John, how are you? You're in Corbin, Brad? Cool. An alien just injected me with a chemical. Now my skin is green and I'm really muscular." Oh, Blondie, I hope you feel better soon. Oh gosh. Oh, thank you, John. Hi, Banana. How are you? So, yeah, I felt like it was uh, extremely disappointing, but at the same time, I don't think anybody's really surprised. And I don't want to sound like nobody else in the world matters. I'm getting a little hot. I had a heating pad on my hernia. My hernias. But what I want to do for like everybody that can't do it for themselves. Like it's how I view the world. I don't care if this sounds goofy to you, that this can sound goofy to you. I sincerely don't care. We are all connected, and this is all affecting everything's affecting all of us. A certain level it is. And so, like, what can I do? I can't do what I would like to do and sincerely help people that need the sincere help. So, I'm going to do what I wish everybody could do. And I'm going to grow as much food as I can. I'm going to grow as much medicinal healing. I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I'm going to grow as much good things as I can and share that with the world. And I just feel like if more people did that, you'd be surprised. I have a dinner every week with zucchini as like the main entree. Like zucchini is the most of the when we are cooking or growing zucchini in the summertime and fall time, it's, like, not something I know, like, everybody but, like, you might wanna consider having, like, one night a week where it is rice and beans or some kinda pasta dish without protein. I know that that sucks for a lot of people. If you, like, really need protein to satiate yourself, then do rice and beans, but if more of us could sincerely make it a goal, which I know most people can't spend money anyways, like, when I bought my seeds that I bought, I was like, "This is the first" seriously, the first thing I bought for myself all year, and I was glad. I'm like, "That's what I want." I want to not give anybody my money that I don't absolutely have to, and yes, I've got, like, Walmart seeds. It just sucks to buy from anybody like a smaller mom and pop shop. They charge so much for shipping and until you get like $50 worth of seeds, which I do understand it. What kind of psych meds can be grown for Democrats? Jeb said. Please don't drink malt liquor. Oh, I don't, John. We need more Johnny Appleseed in the world. Oh, Edge of the South. That Johnny Appleseed walked around with Swedenborg books. And Swedenborg, if you didn't know who he is a really interesting person, which I got one of his books. And honestly, it is hard. It's like hard to read. It's called Between Heaven and Hell. I talked about it once. This has been like over a year ago. But Johnny Appleseed, is Christian. Swedenborg was Christian, but Swedenborg was one of those people. If he lived now, he'd probably be institutionalized because he said he could talk with spirits. And I believe the way he explained it was like astral projection. Like he could, dream and in this dream state communicate with angels and find out about heaven and everything. Super interesting though, because he was a gifted brain in a lot of ways. I think he was like a mathematician and a number of things where he's clearly like an intelligent man who dove into the spirituality and then wrote these books. And so Johnny Appleseed, I love Johnny Appleseed too. Although I do if you guys don't know, like when you just plant apple seeds, you never know what you're gonna get. You like apples are one of those trees, like it's not always going to be true to the apple. It could be like that apple, it could be like a crab apple. If you don't know what that is, it's a really small apple, and often they are like that. And so that's one thing that makes the Johnny Appleseed story a little weird. Like you really, if you're going to have like a orchard of apple trees, I'm pretty sure they like clone those but that's not to say there's literally no apple trees grown from seed. There's been some people that claim like, this tree has been there for so long and they like sell seeds from one tree, which once again, how does that work? Hi Banana. If I didn't say hi to you, I think I did say hi to you. We need more Johnny Appleseed. Psilocybin channel. Are you saying that for the Democrats' medicine? That's a good answer. Gloom. Next time you make zucchini bread, use Italian cream cake recipe with olive oil. That sounds so good. Well, I've got to go. Good chat. Good night, and God bless you too, Barry. Love you. Good night. Peyote. Gloom. Nah, that's yeah. Um, Ayahuasca. Although I know that's like hardcore. I myself wouldn't be. Okay, so I know this is probably TMI. I got my tonsils removed when I was 15, and I haven't thrown up since then. I mean, I haven't thrown up since I was 15 years old, and there's been times where I had morning sickness or I was sick from alcohol and I wanted to. I won't go into detail any more than that. I know that's kind of gross, but that's one reason why I wouldn't want to do ayahuasca because people talk about how that is a common thing, like you throw up a lot. And I'm like, well, I literally can't. So I'm telling you, that small town hospital, they used the laser to cut off my tonsils and they like did something, but I'm here. Oh, yeah, PTS. We're talking about a little bit of everything. Hell yeah, Johnny Appleseed Ceramics said, you are the walrus, Ron. Oh, what is that from? Is that like the Beatles? I am being serious. Kentucky squash is better. Oh, John, you think so? I think everything is better here. I'm just partial. Now, around where I lived in southern Indiana. I am from Louisville, but you know how that is. A lot of people live in southern Indiana, vice versa, and like work on the other side of the river. They had some really good watermelons. I didn't even know this till I was older. And my mom's like, oh, this is not, they're known for their watermelons. I'm like, why? I grew up around there. I never heard that. No, Nick, I'm not in Bowling Green. I'm like 2 hours east of that. Thank you, PTS. Paul Bunyan was there. Yeah, I am blanking so bad. Daniel Boone. There's a lot of Daniel Boone stuff around here. Who says it has to be Appleseed's Edge of the South? We're just talking about Johnny Appleseed. PTS. You're funny. It could be psychological, ceramics said. Oh, thank you, PTS. There is a story of Johnny Weird Seed. He was a train engineer who threw his weed seeds over the tracks. Legend has it weed grows all around the train tracks. Wink, wink. Gloom, that is so funny. I've known so many people that said they would throw their seeds out. Like I've heard several stories. And I knew one person that was a hunter and said that he just, like, threw his, like, shake and then, like, a while later, he came upon, like, a plant. It was so great, and I believe him. This man would not be telling that story. This isn't the end of it, I tell you that much. No, Fendi. Um, make sure I didn't miss a comment. It's funny how people think this is gonna be the end. Most people, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna go on and on. People that I don't understand it. I was gonna say unless you're like in your 20s, but like Fendi's in his 20s. There's like that doesn't mean that like young people don't know any better. It's just like how could you have lived through 911 to here and then to be like, oh, we're going back there again? Oh yeah, that's a good uh love me some watermelon. I'm in Virginia. Oh, that's so cool. PTS Virginia is beautiful. I wonder if Johnny Appleseed was a giant. John Henry and Paul Bunyan were giants. Oh, Gloom, yes. And I felt so dumb. I was hoping Linda would pop in at some point because when Linda was here, I think you were there that night too, Gloom. I seriously thought that that Smithsonian article was real. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a fake article. And this was years and years ago that I saw that on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not on Facebook anymore. Hi, Bungalow Truth. Do you have a channel, Bungalow? How are you? You look like Dragon Man's daughter. I don't know who that is, Plumber Dude. Jack and the Beanstalk's Giants folklore. William said, PTS, their parents are kids. Mr. Carey, Bertha would have an interesting opinion. Oh, Bertha commented on my post earlier. Yeah, shit history is all, yeah, it is. PTS. It is. Uh, sorry, I'm saying too much. The way that our textbooks were written, you look like you may have a strong meatloaf odor. That is such a weird comment, Elijah. Hi, VB. How are you? V Brownin. Uh, I guess I'm not really talking about. I was like, what was I talking about then? I said it so you don't have to. PTS. We talk about the no people. Usually, I say no people. It's obvious, and I don't think all no people, but like I said, I will be honest, like, I just put myself in the shoes. I couldn't imagine, and I know a lot of people from varying backgrounds think they are it, they are the chosen ones, but, the the worst vibes I ever got off of people were the Orthodox no people in South Beach. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I never interact with them because it's just like the way they acted when they were around people, it made it obvious that they wanted nothing to do with anybody. When I first saw a few of them, I told myself like, "What are Amish people doing here?" 'Cause they looked Amish to me. I had no idea these people existed. I didn't know. I was from small town Indiana, at that point. And yeah, they really do act like they literally own the place, which I guess, you know. The little hats, Fendi. Yes. I'm glad you like it here, Quay. I said it so you don't have I read that. Clark is so cute. Last night I dreamt of San Pedro, Caleb said. Um, are you singing that Madonna song? Yeah, you are. Yeah. I love that song. That's actually a really good song. Thanks. Now that's going to be stuck in my head, but that's not a bad thing. I feel so bad for people who don't know of all the good 80s music. Because at least we still have it, right? And we can go back to it. And we're all listening to this crap on the radio. Although sometimes my kid, I have a 16-year-old, he surprises me. He listens to stuff that I'm like, oh, that sounds good. How is that St. Pedro powder? Oh, it is. Madonna Material Girl exposes the Matrix, Gleam said. Oh, that's really interesting. That's a really interesting take on that. I'm a 90s guy, born in 83. Oh, cool, PTS. Yes, I was born in 87. Read the lyrics. I want to now. Um, I had like two notes written down. I want to look that up before I go to bed because when I screenshot stuff, I do look it up. Sometimes I still have trouble finding stuff though. Often when somebody tells me like a YouTube channel, if it's not the very exact specific name, it's hard for me to look it up. Hi, Abel. How are you, Abel? But yeah, it's really disappointing. All the Yeah, I can't believe I was just from that way that the lady said the leader, the supreme leader they killed. People are tired of them like living in the lap of luxury. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can relate. Like, we all feel the same way about like, and I understand things were probably more extreme for them over there. Like, but it's like the exact same thing. They're just more honest with it. I feel like there is the exact same thing, but their leaders are just honest with it. Trump has made billions of dollars. Trump is selling a watch that's $100,000 a watch. That should be illegal for a president to be, like, marketing anything like that, and if he is selling it, it should literally, like, all go to the national debt or something, or to helping people or something, and, like, the crypto, all the things that they've all the scams, oh my gosh, I consider those scams, I'm sorry, you're, like, scamming people out of their hard-earned money. Yes, they are gullible people that are willingly doing it, but you're still, like, no better than a demon. Americans are leaving in record numbers, but they are still going to the West, though. I'll send you link to the video. Yes, Fendi, do that. Where's your husband at? He's in bed, fucking 90s guy. Oh my God, you're so old, Nate. Nate, how are you? How old are you, Nate? You're like 20. Um, who's talking about two blondes? Teenager pregnancy boom for that generation, gloom. Isn't it interesting? I think that people are just unhealthy. Okay, I do think that people are probably hooking up a little bit less at younger ages. Also know how Madonna sexualizes music like Elvis grabbing his junk, demoralized subliminal hypnosis. Yes. Oh my gosh, gloom. My grandma said that her dad got mad and turned off the TV when he saw Elvis shaking his hips, and she like stayed up late to watch him that night, and that they like had a big fight about it. Um, and then she got pregnant. I do, okay. That's why I think, like, it's our role as older people to guide younger people and to be honest with them. Like, we remember what it's like to be a teenager, to be 20 years old and, like, to have raging hormones and, like, yeah, but you need to know that, like, you're gonna be exponentially better off if you make good decisions, if you don't just like do whatever makes you feel good kind of thing. And yes, Madonna, with the way she was so overt and how people deem that empowering. It's not empowering unless you are literally becoming a millionaire off of it. And let's be real, even then, it's still not really the most liberating or empowering thing a woman could do with her life. And that's the kind of smut we were all fed. And then people wonder, like, why anybody is promiscuous after growing up with a culture like that. But ideally, you have people who are your influences at home that you really look up to, and you have a strong backbone instilled by people who love you and want better for you. It's so sad. Like I just saw the shorts. There was like a 12-year-old boy got a 14-year-old girl pregnant. They were on a TLC reality show. And like I had my first baby at 19. I could not imagine having a baby at 14, 15, 16. But I know a lot of people probably look at me and be like, I couldn't imagine having my first baby at 19. And I do get that. But like, and I remember thinking that when I was 19, I was so glad I was 19 years old. And I did turn 20 the next month, but still, I was 19 when I had him. Um, Oh, it's just crazy to think about, and, like, the mom was like, "Oh, I tried to get this to not happen." I'm like, "Obviously, you didn't try that hard. She's 14 years old, he's 12. These kids shouldn't even have ever been alone together." We don't let that no, nobody no, there's no under the blankets, no behind a closed door, you know? And, I know that my parents they leave me in a basement with my boyfriend. Like, why would you even do that? But yeah, if I could leave, I just might do it if I had enough money and could take my whole family and they all wanted to go. But I would just I'm such an anxious person. If we had enough money to do that, I'd be in constant fear that our bank account would be frozen or shut down by the powers that be, you know? It's like it sucks. Teenager pregnancy boom for that generation, Glimmer Doom. So I did see that. I don't know what BWC is. You. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Spanky, you think I have TDS? I just like Kentucky. I will not forget. Oh, thanks, John. Hi, Michelle. I already said that. When they said rock and roll was the devil, I think that's what they meant. It's Matrix psyops. Yes, Gloom, the influences. And like just thinking about the way movies were, like all media, but especially movies, and like the way we were raised on it's just like constant overt sexual stuff. And then whenever I was a young mother, like when I was like 25, people were like nurse ins were a thing at Target where women were nursing their babies, like sitting down on the floor, purposely making it a point that they should be able to nurse wherever they wanted to. And I was just like, what kind of world do we live in? Like, you can't watch a PG-13 or R-rated movie without seeing like at least two pairs of boobs in it. But like now people are like in an uproar about women nursing their babies, and here we are. And the Playboy, and I know I'm not the only person. I know you guys probably been to people's houses where there was like a Playboy in the bathroom. That shit is so sick to me. And no, it's not me being jealous. It's me, like, I couldn't imagine my husband keeping Playboys in a bathroom, knowing that there's like young people coming over and using our bathroom, and like there's something evil about that. Um, Caleb, you are funny. We've been talking about the child eating and such with Q, PTS said. Oh, thank you, PTS, for the 100. What do you, I don't think you, TDS. You seem like you can listen and respond like an adult. Yeah, PTS. I used to like Trump. I wanted Trump to win all three times he ran. So whenever people say that, I just think it's kind of funny. It's like I've said this, that TDS has mutated from the far left to the far right. Now I believe people that are Trump deranged, they're the people that still support him. I mean, what does he have to do to get people to really see him for what he is? And then we'll continue to suffer the negative repercussions years after he's out of office. And like people on the left will definitely be like, this is Trump's fault. This was Trump's fault. Like they always do, or like whoever is. But, there's still be tons of people that'll be like, he was the best president ever. Levi said you have PTSD. Maybe. Hello, sweetie. You're definitely a good person. Oh, thank you, Frosty. That's so sweet. I think if I do have PTSD, it's CPTSD, which, if you don't know what that is, it's complex PTSD. And it's like from trauma that happened in childhood, which, like, yeah, I didn't have the greatest childhood, but it also wasn't the worst. So I think I'm pretty lucky. Playboy is on the phone now, Napoleon said. You should compare your forehead to KSI. There's another intelligent forehead joke. We rode in the back of trucks, no seatbelts, John said. Yeah, you're cool. You're part of the conversation. Oh, definitely PTS. I love talking. That's why I like doing lives. No, Asher, I don't support ICE. I support enforcing legal immigration, but I don't think that's what they're doing, especially if they're sitting outside of people going to court, people doing it right, people that are trying to become citizens, the legal way, and then they're kidnapping them. Um, and then using our tax dollars, these people in their detention facilities, if you didn't know all the money going towards that, even if you support it, you shouldn't be okay with a facility getting $2 million for porta potties. $2 million for porta potties. Do you guys know how much a porta potty costs? I swear, I think it's like $700 or $800. And I know it costs money to maintain it and pump it and stuff, but like one little simple porta potty, porta potty. Let's not forget about the Playboy Mansion visits. Yes, Gloom. Okay, so I saw something about his wife, Crystal. Is that her name? Crystal, Hugh Hefner's wife he had when he passed. And she's saying that she's gonna like divulge certain things. Did anybody else see anything about that? It almost sounded like, which would make sense, that Hefner had like a little Epstein operation, maybe, where not necessarily the trafficking, but like the blackmailing. Like if somebody was there doing something, he might get some pictures or video of it and then have that on hand in case anybody needed to, because that's where these people end up that have like the most power, most money. Like, I think we would all like to have enough money that we didn't have to worry. I understand that, but to get to the point where they have so much power and so much money, and that's what they do with it. Um, just control and manipulate each other. I support Isaac keeps your drinks cold and food cold, Mr. Carey said. Trump is so much fun, Ron said. This is all my fault. I'm destroying the world from the YouTube comments, Caleb. Ask what around fly. We all have PSD in one way, shape, or form, and it's not always that bad. PT I just noticed your oh my PTSD demon. I am that is how out of it I am tonight. I just noticed your name is PTSD. That's how slow I am. I am like oblivious to things. My spatial awareness can be really bad, and but usually I can see acronyms. uh, Thank you, Fendi. More incels. Thank you, PTSD man. Gloom, yes. I think see, I don't want to I don't think that every man's lot in life is to be monogamous, married, settle down, always have a partner, but at the same time, I think it's the way that everything is thrown in our face, like the constant sexual gratification, like the sexual gratuity and everything that is a constant reminder for people who are sexually frustrated. Oh my gosh, so there's this guy, his video went semi-viral talking about how when he just looks at women, they exhaust him. And he literally said, when I see a woman, an attractive woman, mind you, he's not talking about the fat and ugly ones. When he sees a woman that's attractive, he sees a pile of rocks because it's like a chore. He literally sees like a pile of rocks. He has to move from one spot to the other with a wheelbarrow. And then this one guy was trying to explain it further. He's like, "You guys aren't listening. You guys aren't getting it. It's like in a video game when you spend all your energy thinking you're going to get something, but then you don't. It's like all these like just physical objectification, like, we're a pile of rocks, it's like playing a video game. That is what is, like it's so interesting to me when people say everything they're thinking, and you're like, "Wow, this is really what happens when you sit in front of a screen." When, and you could tell that guy talking about women were like a pile of rocks. You could tell he was sexually frustrated. And then he said that he's like, I'm probably the sexually frustrated one, talking about like women like in his like wanting him. And I bet you most women you're delivering things to already have a partner. Or if she doesn't, she's not literally thinking about nailing the guy that's delivering things to her. We're not built the same, okay? We're not the insemination opportunity. I'm sorry, I always thought that was so crazy. I can't believe I'm saying it. And I do not look at men like that. Oh my gosh, not all men, but like, some men, their life revolves around that. Um, Blondie, I'm sorry to hear your papa's going to be in the hospital on his birthday. Good thing is he's still alive though, right? And I don't know what's going on, but at least he's still here. Exactly, you put that shit, everything you can do out there, John said. Yeah, I support lesbians who are illegal from across the border. What are you talking about, Levi? No, I do think that there is a way to enforce immigration, not like what they're doing. And just the number of people dying and dying in custody is like so much worse than it has been since they started in what, like 2008 or something like that. Like it's clear they don't know what they're doing. Little kids are dying in their custody. But how are you doing? They killed an innocent woman, Asher said. And it's been a few people since I've really talked about it. There was like a school teacher who got hit by a man who was fleeing from ICE, which, yes, I know it was that man who hit her, but it was ICE doing something they're not supposed to be doing, chasing people down like they're traffic cops. Like that caused the accident. And what else? It just goes on and on. It's like once a week there's something else. What percentage of people are being taken from court? I don't know the exact percentage, George, but it's a story that has been reiterated time and time again. One lady, I made a video about it, was from Ireland. And yes, for whatever reason, she wasn't a citizen yet after 40 years of living here, probably because she thought she would be okay married to a US citizen. She went to court once a year and checked up and always had a green card and good status. And then she goes to her annual court date and they take her and they're talking about making her go back to Ireland for 10 years because they're obviously, in my opinion, needing to meet quotas. They're not genuinely caring about illegal immigrants. They want to get X amount of people per day or week or whatever. And so the easiest way for them to get it, because let's be real, these people wouldn't even qualify to be detectives probably most of the time. Thank you, PTSD. They they don't have detective skills. That's why the story I did on a veteran who was on vacation with his wife in a cruise ship with a very common name, something like Juan Hernandez, something that's obviously very common. And it was a case of mistaken identity. They jump on his wife who is naked in bed on vacation. And they detain him for a few hours. And it's like, yes, it was just a few hours, but it didn't have to happen at all. That's our tax dollars. They're going to wherever this cruise ship is docked. Our tax dollars are being spent on them, like, going on their own little vacation to jump on a guy and his wife in bed. And he said one of the agents said something right away, like he didn't think he was the right guy. They're imbeciles. You have to be to sign up for that job. And I understand times are hard, but you have to be an absolute hate filled imbecile. It's like the perfect word from them for them. Yeah, I know when I said kidnapping, somebody was gonna say it. And you take somebody and none of their family knows where they're at and can't communicate with them, I consider that kidnapping. It's a government kidnapping when somebody can't even get a hold of their own family member and they don't know where they are at. That's not what our Constitution is for everybody on the soil, not just for the literal official American citizens. Mexican land will always be Mexican land, John said. Hi, Mag. How are you? Mag love. Hugh Hefner was original blackmail VHS days. Yes, Glamour Doom. Hi, Dante. How are you doing in Houston? Hell yeah, this chat is all right, PTSD. Yes, and I welcome everybody. And like I said, I know it's kind of hypocritical because I do want everybody to get along and work together and not see us as not to play into the divide and conquer. Like, this is okay. As far the working class and the owning class, that's the only divide I want to do on my channel. But I'm sorry, people that are like super strong Trump fans, I just can't. There's us in the working class and there's the owning class, and it's us versus them. And I do not mean that in an inciting violence kind of way. I mean that in like, wake up. It isn't about the immigrants. It isn't about the trans people. It isn't about gay people. It isn't about um even, like, billionaires. It is, they are part of the owning class, but really, it's like, if you don't have to work, you're part of the owning class most likely, right? You have to be, unless you're homeless, okay, you know what I mean? And it's like, even if you make 6 figures, you're still in this rat race, you probably have a big mortgage or a lot of student loan debt or both, and you make a lot of money, but you also spend a lot of money, and, so I look, even if you're bringing in $300,000 a year, you're working every week to make that money and you're paying into the economy and you have bills to pay with your money. If you lost your job, you wouldn't be able to pay those bills. That's all part of the working class. And they want us to think that, it's always somebody else's fault. It's no, it's the greed of the owning class. And I'm not religious, but the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. And it's so true in cover up, girls play games. Oh, hi, Danielson. I'm doing good. How are you? Some guys play games too, cover up. It really does suck. And I do understand there's a lot of immature women. Okay, I went to Walmart in a different town and I was like, "Oh my gosh, take me back to the town I usually go to." It was, oh my gosh, I had two women just walk in front of my car in the parking lot, just like not even look, just walk in front and then like glare at me like I'm the problem. And like, trust, I deal with shitty women a lot. And I think this is like why so many people complain about all of us as a group because there are so many just incredibly, you have to know they're rude to everybody. It's not just men, they're rude to other women too. They're mean and that's for no good reason. And yeah, I've worked with women like that. That's why I kind of prefer second shift. I like to, oh, that's so cool. My husband's from Anchorage, Alaska, Mag. Mag is from Seward, Alaska. And RSB lives in Los Santos. Is that in California? What's like eating donuts? I try vibrant if you're saying my observation was intelligent. That's his own problem, PTSD. So, yes, everybody does need love, but please remember that love can come from, and your pet, a relative, a friend. You shouldn't invest all your stock into romantic love. And actually, the purest love, I've been a married woman for 16 years, but honestly, like when I think about like the what I'm so grateful above all, if I'd never gotten married, I think I would be just as whole of a person from having the friends I've had in my life and the love I shared like between friends. I just feel really bad for people that like want, oh, hi Javier, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Gigolos get lonely too. So you need to do unto others. And so I try to teach my sons, like what yeah, I do believe what goes around comes around to a certain extent. And like Allie Beth stuck with, she's way too Christian for me in a lot of ways, but I do still watch her sometimes. I do. I don't know. I just like her. Uh it's like a love hate kind of, I shouldn't say hate, love dislike. And she said this one thing one time, and she said her dad would tell all the guys that took her on a date to think, just keep in mind that you're taking somebody's future wife out and treat her like that, whether you're going to get married or not. And I just thought that was so sweet. And that's what I tried to tell my sons, like, you're always, you know, dealing with somebody's future wife, and treat her the way you hope somebody's treating your future wife out there right now. And I know boys will be boys. People are probably thinking that, but my kids really do have good heads on their shoulders. And it's been a constant conversation. Mr. Urohi, this is a good real talk, PTSD said. But other countries, you can get put in jail if your visa expires, right, Ricky? Well, yeah, I understand that. And that's something that can happen here too. But these people aren't letting their visa expire. They're like going to their court date, trying to do everything right. And then they get thrown. And that's only going to lend to people not wanting to go to court in this like domino effect. And then, but if you're rich enough, you can just buy your way in, right? If you've got, what was it? $500,000, you can just buy a green card. That's what I'm saying. It's the owning class versus the working class. Life costs more for us. Life is more expensive the more poor you are. The more fees you get, the more overdraft fees. I do not look down on anybody that has struggled with stuff like that, because I know what it's like to like finally feel like you might be getting ahead, and not even to the point where you can save, but like that you're not struggling so much, and then something else happens, and then there's some other fee or something. Oh shoot, my phone is gonna die soon, you guys. Let's do this. I need to get my charger on. I'm hoping, I was afraid I was gonna lose you. I just like don't want to get a new phone. I want to put it off as much as possible, but this charging situation is getting really annoying. Crispy, of course I don't want the rapists and murderers to be in here. I'm not trying to be mean, but you know that whoever you're saying that to is going to be like, "Yes, I don't believe in rapists and murderers." What don't you understand about people doing everything by the book and still getting deported or put into detention because ICE needs to meet some quota, in my opinion. Meet me in Blaine County, RS, Gleam said. I have this experience. It is not love, John said. No, I don't know GTA 5. I like the game RSB. I don't play video games like that. Uh I didn't let my kids play that either. When I heard that you could like have sex with prostitutes, I was like, "No, I'm sorry." And trust me, I'm not the perfect mom. I'm not trying to like come off as that at all. Um, PTSD, my name is Matthew Edward Meditz. Oh, that's nice. Edward is a nice name. Not gonna read this one comment again. Crispy, free your mind. The wicked will not get away with it. Starboy the Night. Starboy the Night. Uh, I'm here with you. I'm with you. We're on the page. I'm certain. PTSD. Joseph, what the fuck? Childish fucking people. Oh, just something around home. Always fighting. Fendi. I don't know. I'm just irritated with everything going on. Like it's a calm, low anger. Yeah. It's enough to drive anybody crazy. I think that's what, like, they want too. I wish that I could give you a better answer, but, yeah, I think they're trying to, like, drain us. I think these big detention facilities, I'm gonna go out on a limb and, like, I don't care how tinfoil hat I sound to whoever. I think that these big detention facilities they're trying to say is for ICE is actually gonna be like and they round up people when there's, like, real civil unrest, or the grid, like, collapses under the weight of all the stuff they're trying to do. I don't know, oh, okay, I read that. And I think that so I wanted to make an edited video today and, like, talk about how, like but I'm just gonna say the same thing I always say that, like, gardening, I can't think of any and I know that's not everybody's answer, but, like, I feel like my path is help inspire people at least, and the way I see it, like, I know Kentucky ranks in, like, 45th and 46th and, like, a lot of bad places when it comes to a lot of stuff, and, like, people look down on Kentucky so much because of just the things they have heard of it, but if you can get away from a city if you live near a city and it's possible for you to get away to a city. It's like the way I look at it, like we can't afford anything in the city anyways. Like, what's the point of living in a city and being near all the nice restaurants and shops when you like literally can't afford we don't have health insurance. Like I understand people wanting to be near healthcare, but like uh it's sometimes you might end up happier, and that's one thing that I just feel better and I'm not saying that we'd be untouchable, in Kentucky, there's military bases. We're, like, in between military bases, I think, but, Edge of Tree sounds like normal Walmart behavior to me. Edge of Edge of the South. Yeah, for some, I swear the bigger town I usually favor, like, people act a little bit better, but it was just like that. It just reminded me of how much I same thing with people at work, you know? It's like I know as soon as I meet a woman, if she's gonna be nice like me, or like I know before she even talks, just the way they act. Yeah, I go from one topic to another a lot, Joseph. So if that's not your thing, I understand. Hey, will you entertain me? The last guy ended the stream on me. Michael, I am getting ready to go soon because I'm like holding my phone up. Women are entitled because of desperate men. The cycle continues. Yeah, Caleb, you're not wrong. I have to get my beauty lights. No, it's a bad cycle, and the world has told women that their worth depends on their looks, right? And the world told men that their worth is depending on how much they can earn, and that's both horribly detrimental. And to be a woman and to age in this world, it's like, uh, that's something that is its own ego death. I think that women used to go through like more ego deaths, and because of social media, it's like put that individuation process off for some of them. Not all women, though. But there is an issue, like, whenever there's, like, a bad person I think this a lot with men and women, and, like, why do some of the best people, they have trouble finding a partner, but the worst people are always and I understand they're just, like, horrible, so they're, like, they're with anything that will walk, whatever, but still, like, some of these people, it's like, "Why can this man get a date, but then some other men complain?" It really is all about your energy, um Thank you, Cole. You're dedicated and disciplined. I try to be. Senior Shorts, you live in a tiny house. Not anymore, Alvin. Alvin, we finished that shed out and then we sold it after 11 and a half months because we ran out of money. So I tell completely honest about our story because we own 23 acres. We sold our first house, bought it in cash, and we ran out of money. And we just got to this point where it wasn't going to work. And my older kids were living with my mom, and I wanted to live with them again. So we sold that, but we would like to get on land again, like 10 acres though. 23 was kind of a lot. Lots of y'all ladies are making great faces. This is why religion has gained so much over the last decade. What do you mean by that, PTSD? Oh no, it's like it went from trolls talking about my forehead and my nose to everybody telling me how gorgeous and beautiful I am. Indulgences with the church dark ages. PTSD said, Elijah, that's true. Only a few of them are doing that. Most are not doing that. Are we talking about men or women doing what? But I think that it's a growing problem, what I said about I think it's always been a thing that women were very codependent on men. I mean, it's just a natural when you can't have your own bank account or have a house in your name, it's just a more natural occurrence. But now that we don't need men for resources the same, but we're still indoctrinated with that. Like I always call it like damsel in distress. Like the man will save you, and the best women and people, period, right? It's like nobody's going to save you. Nobody's here to save you. Everything is your fault. You will not be as good of a person as you can be. And I know that some people in really bad situations, there's always exceptions. But I'm saying if you're an adult and you're like kind of struggling and like you get to the point where you realize like everything is my fault and like you create the kind of life that you want. So then for all the mistakes you ever made, that's why I'm open and honest about my mistakes and like running out of money and stuff like, yeah, that kind of sucks that that happened. That didn't have to happen that way, but it did all happen in the right way that I truly believe it was supposed to. We didn't like the neighbors. And I'm always like, gosh, where we live right now is so much more peaceful. There's no wild pack of feral chows coming up on our property every other time I turn around. And it's funny. Yeah, I would eat ketchup, mustard, mayo sandwich for a new phone. I used to like to put like mayonnaise on bread and eat it. I love mayonnaise. Yeah, PTSD. I've had this phone 3 years now, and, like, it works great. It's an iPhone 13. I'm kind of scared of switching because every t just new things. I'd rather have, like, an older car. That's so funny. Honda '03 Civic, right after I say that. Working class are the only people that matter. If you're not part of the working class, then how on earth do you even contribute to society? Right, Honda, that's how I feel, but, contrarian opinion, I would say they make the jobs. They make all the jobs, and if we didn't have the billionaires who hoard wealth and resources, none of us would have any jobs, you know? It's just funny, the best company I ever worked for was a Japanese company, and yes, it has been around for a long time, for, like, decades and decades, but, we got health insurance for $56 a month for 5 people, including dental and vision. That is unheard of. That is crazy. They haven't raised the rates on employees in 15 years. Somehow, that Japanese auto manufacturer subsidizes the health insurance to give affordable health insurance to their employees. Why can't everybody do that? Why can't Walmart do that? Walmart employs most people second to our military in our country. I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. It might be Amazon now. I've worked for Amazon at two different warehouses 4 times. A lot of people are like that with Amazon. They psychologically torment you because they want the turnover to like constantly, and they'll take you back as long as you didn't like steal from them. They'll take you back, and it's interesting. Hi, Gary. How are you doing, Gary? It's been a minute. Hi, Leon. How are you? Yeah, I was talking to GTA 5 guy. It was code for game locations, Gloom said. Oh, okay. PTSD, you said my name right. Michael. Oh, hey, Michael. How are you? I'm doing well. Digital ID for a loaf of bread, I guess, Gloom. I got the digital ID. I remember I like heard stuff about it, but then when I was like, it was you won't have to renew your license for like X amount more years. And I was like, well, shoot, well, yeah, um, and she said something about like, I don't plan on flying, but I was like, gosh, that would be just my luck if like for some reason I wanted to fly. Hi, Justin, how are you? PTSD marriage is a legit business. Yeah, it is very interesting how to think about how marriage used to be looked at as more of a like a business. It really did. And then like hopefully you fall in love, but like a lot of people throughout history didn't like get married just from after falling in love. Hi, Justin. How are you doing? My favorite woman insult I ever heard was two women arguing. One woman said to the other, I love your hair. The other woman said, thank you. And then she asked her if it was plastic. LMAO. Oh, that is funny, Gloom. Yeah, women, they can be so vicious psychologically, you know? And I'm not trying to sit here and say like I'm a saint. That's what I get it. Like it's the I think a lot of women don't realize how much they do hurt men too when they're like not nice and respectful. Like, respect is everything. Everyone's light is within them to be kind and loving. They just have to find it, Jason said. Oh, PTSD, that's so nice. I adore you too. Jason, I do think that with very few exceptions, there's always exceptions though, right? There's bad seeds that are just born evil, but I do agree with you. Most people are loving. Little kids love each other. They're not like, you're different. stay away from me. They're like, "Oh, hey, you're different. Let's talk. Let's hang out." Maybe God made two, maybe even one. I think he did perfect, including like, oh, Michael, stop it, Michael. Gloom. I knew at that moment they were not going to get along during our tailgate party. Hilarious. Bertha, hey. Oh, we're talking about all sorts of stuff. You know me. How are you doing, Bertha? Yeah, Mr. Carey just mentioned you like 20 minutes ago or something, but I'm not true, Jesus. I will save you and he'll take care of you. Oh, L. I don't know how to say your name. I'll just say L. That's really nice. And I do believe in Jesus and just don't call myself a Christian, but PTSD, people have been going towards the hits the last decade. Lots of people are conferring to, or practicing religion. Maybe it's because it's a social thing, because something to do on Sunday with people. Yeah, PTSD. I think that uh, I would like to know. So I've heard mixed things that women are leaving the church, but men are joining. Is that what you guys have heard? I think that people not, you're born in Harlan County. That's so cool, Blank. I don't know where you live now, but do you like Harlan still, or you ever go back? Or are you still there? I guess you could still be there. And I think people do need to believe in God, but not religion necessarily. Don't mind my Oh, it's not that messy. I thought you could see. Oh, you can see really where the paint stops right there. It's just our bedroom. Actually, there's a wall like that in the living room too. No, they don't make the job capitalism. You can create your own job PTSD. Yes, eat the rich, Patrick. I agree. That's so real. I have the new iPhone, but I seriously want an iPhone 4 if they were still updated. Oh my gosh, Bertha, that's funny. I left the first iPhone. We like shared an iPhone back then. It was funny. It was like, because my husband worked from home. So we had like, some other kind of phone, but like we got an iPhone and we're like, oh, so like whoever went out would take that to use like the GPS and whatever. I can't believe how long ago this was, what, like 17 years, 16 years ago. And I left that phone in a puddle. It fell out of my car and it landed in a puddle. I didn't know where it was for hours, waterlogged in a puddle. And that shit still worked for years after that. Back when Apple was like, I don't know. Back in the day, Apple I had this Apple laptop for years, and it like, the hinge started to, like, come apart, and I wish I would've just, like, taped that and kept it, you know? Um, but I'm medically retired from the Army. Oh, PTSD. That's cool. I hope you, get everything you need to taken care of. There was just a vet in here earlier talking about how he didn't get the care that he needed when he needed it, and that really is awful. But yes, somebody in here earlier talking about how the working people are the only people that matter. I completely agree with that, and I love that, and that's what I want to talk about on my channel more than anything is like, or if I could do something, it would be like to help people not feel hopeless and helpless, because I don't think anybody deserves to feel that, even a Trump supporter, honestly. Like most people don't deserve to feel that. And it is to have pride. Like so much of what we go through, and like I get it, you're getting calls from bill collectors and you're behind on bills, you're worried about like an electricity shut off or water shut off. Like I get it. I think most of us have been there a lot lately, and if you haven't, you have a better situation. I think that's awesome too. I really am glad you're part of the working class. You earned that, right? The whole point is like most people should be able to live more comfortably and they don't. And part of what's like beating us down and keeping us down and not able to really do and make the changes that we could is because of that rut we're in. And if people like just took the pride instead of looking up to people that I call them amoebas. They're like one cell organisms that just exist. I couldn't imagine being like a Kardashian and having everybody do everything for me. That would drive me crazy. I would, no, I want, like, okay, I think it'd be nice to have like your hair and your makeup done sometimes. But you know what I mean? Like you literally don't you like probably even wipe your own butt. Like they just like they don't cook their own food, they don't clean their own house, they don't wash their own clothes. It's like what do you do with your life? That just sounds so vapid and horrible to just be like a constant consumer, just like constantly consuming. I saw this supposedly Fergie that you know who I'm talking about, the ex-royal lady. They had a cook that came out and said that her and her daughters would be like, "Make us this and that," like this, like, seven-course meal for supper, and then they would, like, not eat it. They would just leave it on the table and they'd be sitting there eating like chips in the living room, watching TV. Like I can imagine a lot of wealthy people acting like feeling so entitled. And yeah, it's like that. I take pride in the fact that I would never do that to somebody. I would never treat somebody like less than because they have less money than me. Okay. This is so real. I read that already. Crazy work world. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Kerry. We need a socialist capitalist hybrid system with free housing, cheaper groceries, and a better quality of life. The dollar doesn't go far enough, and minimum wage in Texas is still 7.25 an hour. I believe it still is here. It's I whenever I see a job like $11, I just who can do that but like a teenager? My teenager looking for work, it like this one place was talking about and it was so far away and it was paying like 750. I'm like, "I'm sorry, you're gonna be literally working like, an hour or 2 of your shift. Every shift is gonna, like, be for gas." Like, that's crazy. It makes me so upset thinking about these people and, like, I just see so many older people working at Walmart, and I know some older people genuinely like to keep active, and I think that's awesome, but my heart always breaks a little, like, I hope you don't, like, have to be here, and you know that they do. Oh, you drank a few beers with you and your chat. Oh, PTSD, that's so nice, thank you. Having people like you to talk to and start a community with makes all the bullshit worth it. Hi, Sherry. I'm gonna call you Sherry. How are you? It's morning where you are. Lightning, I'm the kind guy. That's cool, Lightning. There's no excuse for poor manners unless the kids are taught to hate. Yes, PTSD. That's true. Thank you for sending a flower. I did see it when you sent it. Quakers are the best. I am married, Cornholio. But I guess you would say yes, because my husband's 1/4, it's like, Indian, indigenous Mexican. I don't believe in religion. A personal relationship with Christ Jesus is what I believe in. That's nice, Spooks. I I don't know if I would call myself a Christ follower yet because I haven't even completed the Bible. Like, I feel like I need to read it before I really commit to that. But everything that I've read so far, I do believe in Jesus Christ's teachings, you know? But, it is a shame. So this one guy I follow, he's been getting into like antique Bibles. Joey Fells, I think he's a character. If you don't know who that is, he talk about being all over the place. When I first started following him, he was like talking about like remodeling, and then it turned into going to Costa Rica and starting a homestead. Now he's like back here looking at Bibles from the 1800s, and it is super interesting what a lot of people's old Bibles have. It seems like something is happening with them, which means there's movement within the group. How it settles is not my boogie, PTS Demon says. You go from mom to teenage stoner in a sentence, PTS does. Apple's old stuff from like 2010 and before was the best, Bertha. Yes, Bertha, it really was. Whenever I see an old Apple computer, I didn't have like a desktop computer when I was a kid. We weren't upper middle class, but like, it's so funny. Gloom, if my brothers and sisters won't, I will. Me, that's a gloom. I was not that kid. Um, that's funny. I think my sister probably was, but I don't know. Amen. Helping people helps us all. Having kids is a wild card. I don't have any, y'all that do. Much respect. Yeah, PTSD. I think that if I didn't have any, I mean, I had a hysterectomy last year, so I wouldn't be able to have any more, period, now. But like, I think it's a trick. I think your frontal lobe doesn't fully develop while you're your most fertile, basically. Not that you can't have a baby after 25. I don't want any women to think that because that's not true. But, it is harder, and I think that that happens for a reason, and it's nature's way of, like, getting women like me to have 3, and, I look back, I'm like, "I can't believe I went through that 3 times," not to make it about me, but, like, I wouldn't sign up for it now. AI is becoming too powerful now, machines talking to each other, how to take over human minds. Yes, Michael, I saw that. It is pretty crazy, but don't let yourself get too worried about it. See, it's the thing is like they can sit there and be as smart as they want, but that's why I talk a lot about robotics need constant maintenance. Like for a robot army to really develop, like they would need a small army of people following them, putting lubrication on their joints and everything. Bullshit, you would have it, but you are not greedy, PTSD said. Patrick, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. They're two wings of the same bird, two sides of the same coin. It's them against us. I will say I've never seen groceries cost so much until Trump's second term. Yes, Patrick, I completely agree with you on that. That's what it's like, it makes me so mad for people. And I could do better. I could try harder to order in bulk from places like Azure Standard. If you don't know what that is, that's where a lot of people get a lot of their bulk groceries from. People, especially that like homestead and live off the grid. Um, I've heard mostly really good things about them, and it's like, I don't have a pantry, I don't have a cellar or basement here either. I was thinking about trying to convert some little part in my crawl space to some kind of root cellar, but the mice out here are so bad. Like, what could I do? I was thinking if I put like squash in a cooler in the crawl space, would that be sufficient? I might try something like that this coming year because I still have a few pumpkins on my counter and I'm kind of tired of it. Pumpkins that I grew, but so anyways, like I know I could do so much better. I see people that have like a deep freezer with like a half a cow they bought and I'm like, we could like take our tax return and try to do something like that. But you know how it is. It's always something. And but even if you just have a porch, like there is so many healing properties to in herbs and certain plants. Like it's worth trying to grow something to make tea every day. It really is. Bertha, there's a video of Kardashians going to the grocery store for fun and they thought it was so weird and cool to swipe a card and push a cart. Did you see Trump talking about groceries? Like he never heard that word before. Groceries. Like what people call food they eat. Did you see that? PTSD, greed, envy, and jealousy destroy beauty. Yes, PTSD. It is, the shorts I saw, I know we all have seen it in real life, but just they showed like beautiful women, like actresses, from like the 80s and 90s. And then they flashed like a bunch of like the beautiful women today. And Megan Fox was one of them. She was so beautiful. She didn't need any of that plastic surgery. But they literally all had the same face. They had the same nose, the same eyes, the same lips. They looked the same. And none of them looked nearly as pretty is the variety of, like, 80s and 90s. I did see this one Indian chick, though, this, like, young up-and-coming model. Oh, she was beautiful. I see why she got scouted. So pretty. And she was, like, the first Indian model to walk for Chanel, I think. But anyways, I still, like, say a prayer for all those girls. Jeez Louise. Um, I've seen a lot of people make videos about it since I brought it up, and now I cannot remember her name. There's a Norwegian model who said in like 2001 that they were like trafficking women and people said she was crazy and threw her in a freaking, insane asylum. I know that's not what it was. They in a mental hospital for a week or something and then she never came out again. Like she's been okay, but she doesn't go out in the public. She doesn't do interviews. It is really crazy. Lucky, are you talking about me? Greed, envy, and jealousy are the diseases of the world. I thought I was rereading a comment. I'm like, I just start selling Fent at that point, and that's one reasons why I couldn't live in the South. Oh, Fenty, I wouldn't let you do that. No, we need to get if you wanted to. I know it's not for everybody, but we need to get you on a homestead. It makes me so sad when I see elderly people working at the Dollar Tree, right? Thank you for that little brush, PTSD, and thank you, Pyramid, for the 100. I know. I always feel horrible for them too. I work hard labor. I work in a warehouse loading and unloading trucks 10 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I get 17.50 an hour, and I'm still barely getting by. It's ridiculous in the 2020s. Patrick, that's so funny that you said that, which my heart goes out to you, Patrick. I did that one night at Walmart distribution center. They didn't tell us what the dock plate was. First of all, we didn't know what a dock plate was, so we didn't put it down. So the girl I was with, her foot got stuck in the hole in the floor. I wish we would have like went to a lawyer the next day or something. I have a picture somewhere in an old phone of the way my thighs looked after unloading a truck one night. I couldn't walk the next day. I mean, it was literally like black and blue from my knee to like, up. Hardest job, hands down. That's I just said that earlier in this chat, Patrick, we were talking about automation. I'm like, they are not automating unloading and loading trucks. And of course, somebody had to say, I work at a place where a robot loads the trucks. I'm like, no, you don't. They don't do that at Walmart. They don't do that at Amazon. They don't do that at a number of factories I've worked at. And that is absolutely the hardest job. And it's like, oh, it makes me so mad that you only get 17.50 an hour. But I really do like people like Patrick that do jobs that keep our supply chain going. And so we're talking about every single thing. The phone you're looking at right now, our computer, whatever, TV screen, and every single thing around you. Think about it. Everything your home, your apartment, your house is comprised of. The carpet under your feet or whatever. The doors you open to go into the other room, the blankets you're getting ready to get in tonight, literally everything, the makeup on your face, the hair you use to brush your hair, the clothes you're wearing, literally everything came to be in your life because of many people like Patrick who made sure the supplies got to where they needed to go to make the products and then made sure the products got shipped to wherever they were supposed to go. And it's constant. It is constant. They don't get time off during severe weather emergencies. They still have to go to work like a doctor at a hospital. How many people have to do that? Besides, like literal, legit statewide emergencies, I still had to go to my factory and work. And that's the kind of thing that like Patrick and people like Patrick should be proud. And I know that there would be people that be like, it's not worth breaking your body, but like that's what somebody has to do it. And those are the people that we should be propping up. The people like that's amazing. All these billionaires people look up to and say, well, they give us jobs. They couldn't handle an hour doing what Patrick does and what so many men do. And then they turn around and they're humble about it and they just want to be able to pay their bills. They're not greedy. They're not trying to rule over people. That's the kind of person that made America what it is now, is good men who knew the value in work and worked fucking hard for all of us, for themselves and for all of us. And it's like, if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have shit today. And there's only so long they can siphon everything off of us. There's only so long they can pay somebody like Patrick $17.50 an hour to do the literal hardest job there is in a warehouse. Okay, if you are literally, like, unwrapping the pallets and I know I said I did this, but I had a pallet jack. I'm not even talking about like, there are certain times where you're unloading a pallet. It can be almost as hard as loading or unloading a truck because it's, like, the same thing. It's constant movement. Hi, Robert, how are you? And some things are heavy, some things aren't. You think something's light, and it's actually really heavy. Um Robert, I'm not going to put the phone any closer than this. I'm about to order both the Geneva Bible and Ethiopian Bible. Gloom. Okay. I have a book of Enoch in my cart that says Ethiopian Bible. Does that sound right to you? Is the book of Enoch the Ethiopian Bible, or is it part of the Ethiopian Bible? I hope you can answer that. Geneva Bible was before King James Version. PTSD, you're a cool mom. I hope you know that. Oh, PTSD, demon. Thank you. You guys, I really don't like to talk about my kids a lot, but my 16-year-old, like, got, like, his intermediate license this week. He, like, passed his driving test. It was, like, a big deal. And it's also, like, extremely nerve-wracking, and he drove to school. He drove to school on his own. My political views are make America affordable again and bring back a 1990s quality of life. I would love that, Patrick. Yes. People didn't realize how good they had it. Caramel Lucifer, I am trying to spread some positivity. Hope your day is wonderful as you stay amazing. Oh, thank you, Caramel. That's so sweet. You too. Stephanie, I'm really sorry to hear your grandma died. I have audiobooked about seven of the missing books, but I still want to read them. Yeah, Gloom. See, I do audiobooks sometimes, but for some reason, when it comes to, I'm like, I'm not even going near the audiobooks. I feel like I won't retain it as well. Shut the fuck up. You just talked about maintaining soldiers with robots on the battlefield. You make selecting um what are you talking about, PTS demon? You make selection. I don't know. I'm sorry. My brain is lost. I don't know exactly what connection you're making with that. How do you spell azure? Okay, edge of the south. It's azure, like blue. I think it's like blue in French. AZ is in Zeppelin. Azure. 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 PTSD, like you're a beast. Your family is blessed to have you as their leader. PTSD, that's the nicest thing you could say to me, thank you. How are you tonight, Pyramid? Even Carrie Underwood looks totally different now. Yeah, that happens to women, I talk about progesterone a lot, like, our when they talk about that, like, Ghislaine Maxwell might not be like, I do totally think she's not in prison, but that newest picture that's came out where people are like, "Her nose is totally different and stuff." Well, your nose does grow. That's why, like, really old people, if you ever see like a really old person with a teeny tiny nose, like maybe if they always had a teeny tiny nose, their nose still will be small. But most older people have kind of big ears and like a pronounced or bigger nose because those are some of the only body parts. Your cartilage keeps growing, is the point. Like, that's one reason why women, I think, progesterone has a lot to do with it, yada yada. I'm not giving any medical advice, but men and women could all benefit from progesterone. It helps you balance your other hormones. It's very safe. It's a lot safer than testosterone or estrogen, just so you know. Women that are struggling, if you know any woman that has bad menstrual cycles, I can't stress it enough. Progesterone cream derived from yams might help. It is life saving, and women suffer so much. And like, I know, I understand where they're coming from, but there's so many women that like don't want to take the advice of somebody that's been there before and that have had horrible periods that lasted for 6 to 8 weeks. And like, just like I didn't understand how I wasn't fainting. Like, I'm bleeding so much. How is this even possible for all of this to come out of my body and me not be anemic? And that's what doctor said. You're anemic, therefore you can't be bleeding like this. And I'm like, do you want to come to the bathroom with me? I'm not kidding. I would say that to them. I've already had a few babies. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed for you to like literally like watch it come out of my body if you're trying to call me a liar. Cause like do it. Like, they don't care about us. They don't listen to women. They uh I started following a medical student, and her big thing is trying to like bring awareness to the lack of um pain management when it comes to gynecological procedures, and I thought that was great. The surgeon who stopped taking a biopsy because she said could see, I'm sorry, guys, I had a hysterectomy. She said she could tell there was a lot of scar tissue where I had 4 rounds of biopsies before, and she could tell it wasn't gonna be easy, and she wasn't gonna put me through that. Those were her words, "I'm not gonna put you through that." She still did the brush thing, the endocervical brush that literally looks like a big wire brush you use to clean out some kind of fucking instrument with or something, or a gun or something, like one of those like hardcore big wire bristles, shoving it in the middle. It hurts so bad. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be the reason why any woman doesn't get that done. It's better than cervical cancer. But she tells me after my surgery that women don't have nerves in their cervix. I'm like, you literally didn't do a biopsy because you could tell that. Anyways, there's 3 kinds. Not only have nerves, we have 3 different kinds of nerves in our cervix, and I'm so grateful for that surgeon because 4 before her said that they wouldn't give me a hysterectomy until the cancer became invasive. So, um, clip drip, are you talking about unloading trucks as easy work? Been there, done that. I don't think you've really unloaded trucks if you're just like, been there, done that. It's okay to be like, yeah, I did that before and I'm fine. Obviously, Patrick is fine, and some people want to do it. I like, personally, I couldn't be happy sitting down 40 hours a week, not 24/7. I like more physical jobs myself. So I do understand people working physical jobs and being happy, and I'm not saying, like, feel bad for them, but they should be making more when they're literally the reason why any of us have anything. Been welding and fabricating for 22 years. I make 29 an hour. That's awesome, Rusty. I'm glad to hear that. Welders do make good money. PTSD, man, I was in infantry in the Army. Infantry are combat athletes. I've been trying to get my son to think about welding, honestly. Oh, yeah, PTSD. I bet you've seen a lot. So there's this woman from Canada, I can't remember her name, but I'm sure she wouldn't be hard to find. Really attractive woman, not that that matters, but can't help but notice. She's like my age. She's a vet. She's from Canada, but she said she was a combat veteran. I didn't even know women were ever that's how ignorant I am. She said she was one of the first women to do what she did, and, she is very honest. She speaks out about MAID, just so you know, was where I was going with that. If you don't know what MAID is, it's like a euthanasia. It's, like, approved by a doctor. It's absolutely horrible what's going on in Canada with it. You should look into it if you're interested in it at all. It is absolutely horrible, the things that are happening because of it. And this woman is doing a great job being outspoken. She said she feels like she can't really turn the wheels back on what's going on in Canada, but she's hoping that people like here in the States will hear her advocacy and like take the reins before this shit starts happening here. It is awful. They're just like, oh, it's so upsetting. They're like going to these old people who are like in bad shape, but don't want to die. And they're like, yeah, we can help. Like this one lady described it as like a nurse wasn't being honest with her. She's like, we can help you out. Sign this paper and we'll give you this injection. You won't feel pain anymore. And then the lady was, I know what you're trying to do. I know what this is. And that's so disturbing to think about. And I have a nonverbal son who's 8 years old. And like, I just think about the some kid, I consider him a kid, I'm sorry, a 26-year-old did it because he's, like, got diabetes and something else. It wasn't in anything that he should be wanting to take, but in this world we live in and with the way that they, pay like, they look at it as, like, they're saving money because that's one less person on pension, one less person getting healthcare. Oh, it's so disturbing. It's, like, so disturbing. That's what happens with this, like, weird, weird place we're in. Um, and I couldn't imagine in the for-profit healthcare model we have in this country, how it would be any better. If not, I think it would be worse. And I know Switzerland is like the place that started it, and she said they're probably always going to be like a mecca for this stuff. But let's not as accessible to a lot of people. I know it is accessible to a lot of people in Europe, but it's just so horrible. And so her whole point is after being, I'm dragging this on, she went through deep depression. She took lives in the combat zone. She said that changes you as a person, and she went through a lot, and she said that was it psilocybin? I believe it was psilocybin that really helped, and just, like, there being with other people, no, I'm sorry, PTSD, man. Now I feel bad for bringing this up, but she's a really remarkable woman. I think that it's so cool when people like her come out the other side and use it to like help people. Like she knows what it's like to there are 3 books of Enoch. Enoch is a part of it, not in front of me to confirm yet, but it's supposed to be a missing book. I just wonder, as soon as I saw that one that said Ethiopian, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get that. The book of Enoch would be a book in the Bible. It's not considered canon, right? Edge of South. I've had several people tell me to get it. I'm not a hero, but I do appreciate your recognition, ma'am. And back in 2007, 1750 would have been great, right? And 2026 is basically the new minimum wage. US dollar is losing value fast. Yes, Patrick. I don't know what your situation is at all, but yeah, we need to like live below our means as much as possible, which I know most of us probably are. But like I personally, I would kinda like to sell our property and, like, buy an RV and be debt free, but, like, I really wish we would have done that last time, honestly. Book of Enoch is some fictional shit made up by little hats I heard, and I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, Fendi. You might be right. But, I've had enough people tell me that there's something valuable in it. Doug Jones, February 25th, Anthropic versus Pentagon dispute, the red line dispute. Search this, please. Doug Jones, I was talking about that earlier. I did bring that up, how they said, and I brought up the word anthropic because I never heard that before today. They said that they aren't allowed to use it and they could be like criminally charged if anybody in the government uses it, right? That's interesting. Enoch was taken by God. Only 2 other characters were taken. Gloom said, oh, okay. Thank you for saying that, Gloom. I did not know that. And that does make it more interesting. Okay, calcification. PTSD, 5 F's of field sanitation, feces, flies, fingers, fluids, foods. Oh my gosh. Gloom. Enoch is the first missing book. The Christians still debate whether to include it or not. Main reason is because it helps explain Peter. That's interesting. Marquise, yes, the nose never stops growing, and your ears. And that's one reason, like the way that women, their feet can grow. Like a lot of it has to do with progesterone. When you're pregnant, you have a lot of progesterone, and that's why sometimes women's feet go up half a size or something, and some women's face like looks bigger, whatever, and often it goes back down. Enoch is mentioned as Noah's grandfather in the Bible. Okay, Gloom. Gotta drink water, PTSD. I'm drinking my sparkling water. Oh, yeah, you gotta drink because you're drinking beer. A beer does sound good right now. Anthropic versus Pentagon dispute. I read that comment. I will look that up though. Thank you, Da Jones. That's the number one way to improve health. That's traumatic surgery. What are you talking about, PTSD? Are you talking about my hysterectomy was traumatic? What are you talking about traumatic? Oh dear goodness. The medical system is jacked. Yes, PTSD. I was born in 78, and I will say that the 90s and 2000s were heavenly compared to 2010s and 2020s. Not because I'm getting older, but because the actual quality of life has gone way downhill. I agree with you, Patrick. I was born in 87. That's funny. 78, 87. I agree. I really regret that we rented a luxury apartment for like 3 years. We spent like so much money on because we could, but like looking, we couldn't afford that apartment now. Isn't that funny? Of course, we lived in Louisville and had like better paying jobs then, but like it's just crazy to think about. We used to be able to be like, yeah, let's go to the water park this month. Like a kid has a birthday coming up, and it wouldn't be hard to like plan a little weekend trip, and now and in 90s, we had a Desert Storm gloom said home APR was 13% in 90s. Yes, that is true, but they were also a lot cheaper. When the average house was like 50,000 or something, so it was easier to pay off, but that is true. People choose their own wild PTSD. Yes, I don't love bourbon that much, piano. I can't handle liquor. I have to drink beer or wine. I don't think I'll ever touch liquor again, honestly. Patrick, it's hard if you're out of shape, but if you have decent strength and stamina endurance, it's actually not that bad. Yeah, and it will keep you fit, Patrick. Appalachian born. You're from Kentucky. That's awesome. I was born in Louisville. I wish I was born in Appalachia. I worked in auto manufacturing, Patriot. Um, I was like a picker at Amazon, if you don't know what that is. I unloaded pallets at Walmart, but I just worked there one season. It was like a seasonal thing at Walmart. And then several factories, all auto manufacturing. Biggest thing that determines your wealth is how much wealth you were born into. Yes, calcification. Calcification, that is true most of the time. Yes. PTSD is not about what I've done. I'm trying to help and letting you know where it's coming from. PTSD. And so when I was in the army, I changed the way I ran. It ran before I got out with my report to the general. Psychedelics help. Don't apologize. Okay, good. Because when I started to say that, I'm like, oh, I don't want to like. The last thing I want to do is I do that a lot. Whenever I'm talking about anything, I'm like, chances are somebody has like gone through this or this might affect somebody. And like, I feel bad about that. Ethiopian Bible has 22 missing books, not in the King James Version. Oh, I didn't realize it was 22. I thought it was like five. Disconnect from the material world, get out of the box. Yes, I do agree with that, PTSD. Patrick, it'd only take about 2 weeks to a month to physically adjust to my job for a normal guy. And then it does become fairly easy. It's a bit overwork out there, are way harder jobs. Oh, Patrick, I think you're in a warehouse. I think it's the hardest job though, like the hardest physical job. And it's always the one in every warehouse I've ever worked had the most turnover. Like at Walmart, when they threw me into it, it was like they just took people from our position and like once, two people every day had to go do that. And it was like, so once a month you had to do it. Could you imagine doing it for once a month, one shift a month? It was fucking hard and everybody hated doing it. Um, Iron. Are you talking about the turtle man in Kentucky, Iron? Like that snapping turtle guy? I've seen him before, but not like in person. Gloom. I would rather have I know my husband knows where he lives, and it's not far. I think it's somewhere around central Kentucky. I would rather have the education than take a Christian's word for it. I will make my own opinion after reading. So far, it's amazing. Yes, Gloom. PTSD. I retired when I was 28. That's why I was able to do what I did so far. Hormones change. Yes. That's true. Yes, hormones do change. And that's the thing about like progesterone. And I'm not an expert. I'm not giving any expert advice, but like just letting you know, just people know when I'm talking about this. When I told the nurse practitioner I saw last for general, just like blood work, she was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." Because I started to be like, I started you. She's like, "Oh no, I'm completely fine with you using that. My grandpa uses that. Like I think most adults should use it. It's like very balancing. It's not at all like taken like estrogen or testosterone, which you should probably have more guidance with, but I take estrogen. I have PCOS. Should I stay with a woman that's a good woman but can't see my vision? Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, you've got to have somebody you feel like is really your partner in life, which I don't know exactly what you mean by see your vision either, but got to be on the same page, ideally. Geneva Bible was the Bible Shakespeare read before switching to King James Version. Glam said, "Level, no water is akin to oil in a car. Got to change at PTS." Oh, yeah. I am going to unprivate, not unprivate, it's on members only. I'm going to make it public though. This video I did, it's just really interesting thinking about like what is the best type of water for us to drink? That's something that's like nobody can come to like a real consensus over. Hi, Oliver, how are you? I want to say some of the Geneva has missing books and also subtraction, but I don't know yet. Excuse me, Gleamer Doom said. Patrick, nice. 87 was a fun year as a kid. Like 80s were very fun. Oh, I know it's crazy how the world has changed. It is nice. I'm glad that you get on here and you got in the chat and we've talked PTSD. I lived warehouse work. Oh yeah. Mr. Carey, I didn't think you were in here. Enoch and Elijah were taken by God using philosophy. I presume they both achieved title by God, ruler authority. Um, Mixed by Kelby. How to compliment a girl. We'll get to know her and compliment something that you think that, not saying that you can never call a woman pretty, but like if you could compliment her on something that has to do with like a real talent or skill, that would be and, like, really make her feel special, like, I've never seen anybody that could paint as well as like, "Hi, Lily. When I first started this job back in 2006, I wanted to quit all the time, especially the first 2 months, and it did take me some time to physically adjust for about 2 or 3 weeks, but I stuck it out." Oh, wow, so you've been doing it for 20 years? That's what I meant about the surgery you got. It changes you from what I know, it's a woman thing. Yeah, PTSD, man. So I was always worried because I had so many women tell me how their body changed, but those were the few women I knew personally, they also had hysterectomies for cancer. But I don't know how bad it was, if it was like a higher grade of cancer, because I basically had it, it taken out and my ovaries and my tubes are still there. And I was told if it would have progressed, like 4 doctors for 4 years wanted it to, like, it has to become invasive cervical cancer to give you a hysterectomy. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because I was dealing with this for 10 years total. So the 5th doctor, like after 5 years of it, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I don't want to get a biopsy every year. And like they kept telling me no, no, no. And then the 5th doctor, without even seeing my medical records, was like, yeah, I'll do it within 5 minutes. And they explained to me that when it is cancer, they have to cut out like, it's like this, like, sheath that's around your womb. It sounds to me like some kinda, like, fascia layer or something. It's weird. It's not they do cut ligaments. They have to cut ligaments to get your uterus 'cause we're under the impression our uterus is just, like, hanging out. It's like it is attached to things. And, that illustration we have of, like, our uterus with our ovaries, like, out here, it's really not like that. It's really like this. It's not accurate at all. And, anyways, that's neither here nor there, but I worried about that, not to be too vain, but it's like, I just had women tell me, my neighbor in my last house, she's like, "I used to look like you till I had my hysterectomy," and I was just like, "Gosh, like, what is she?" And she didn't look bad. Um, my grandma had a hysterectomy, she said the same thing, but I don't know if they did things differently or whatever. I don't think that I've changed physically, but, I do wonder, and I'll be honest, I kinda am miss having my uterus, even though that's so weird and I don't miss having a period, but I still miss it, and I think that's, like, because internally I know, like, something's missing, and I'm fine, rather be here and not have cancer. But, I do think that there's something to getting, like, your womb removed as a woman. It's not funny, I'm sorry, I have to and, like, having your vagina sewn together, it is pretty freaky. All the changes I've been through, that's what I'm saying, it's like, wow, I sit back and think about 3 pregnancies and all the changes my body has been through and everything I've been through, I'm like, "This is a fucking dream." Like, if this isn't some kinda trippy dream, some other being dreamt up for me, what is it? Like, what is life? Oh. But you guys, I think I should be going because I want to go live tomorrow night too. And I haven't finished, I have a few videos I'm trying to edit and like Yeah, I remember going to the theater and watching Weekend at Bernie's with my uncle, 89, I believe that shit was hilarious. Oh, I believe shit was hilarious. That was so funny. I mean, I say that like I saw it in a theater. That's so funny. I always tell a lady her hair looks nice. It works with text messaging also. I saw the nicest shorts where it was like this mom and her 4-year-old daughter, and she's like, Our lesson today is complimenting." And they were walking around a Target complimenting people. It was so sweet. And um, they complimented men, and I thought that was really nice. It wasn't just like complimenting other women. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, however, my surgery on my hip was botched. That's why I medically retired. I couldn't do my job as an athletic infantryman anymore because a doctor needed a promotion. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, PTSD. You don't sound like an a-hole at all. I like people who can be blunt and say what they mean, that didn't hurt my feelings. But I feel for you, man. I had trouble healing, and I almost wondered, was it so I have weird veins. They had trouble closing my incisions. I had a skin infection because of the trouble of closing my she said I have multiple I have a lot more veins than the average person, and they're really tiny. So, and I also have 3 hernias. So it's like my hernias don't usually affect me, but sometimes they flare up and like I'm like, God, it would be nice to get those surgically repaired. But I've heard that hernia repair surgery is like the worst surgery anybody's ever been through. Everybody that's ever gotten it. I heard this crazy story. This woman's husband got weight loss surgery, had 3 giant clots, had to be cut open from sternum all the way down as low as it goes. His whole stomach literally came open, but right before when they after they checked out of the hospital, his staples literally open, and they're like, "Oh, you have to go home and do wound care because we already checked." Like, what? He said hernia repair surgery was worse than that, is my point. Hernia repair surgery was worse than the weight loss that turned into this critical, almost died situation with 3 huge blood clots that had to be cut out. Half of his intestines removed, and the hernia repair surgery was worse. Anyways, so I'm like always, "Mhm, yeah, you don't, Mr. Carey." You guys, and I don't mean to make I think that, like, women's it is, like, a woman's lot in life, and not to, like, make it not to be, like, sexist, like, men go through their shit too, you know? I couldn't imagine being a man sometimes. I couldn't imagine being attracted to women and being a man walking around. I really do feel bad for you guys. I feel like I did PTSD. I wanted to ask if you got the surgery for the right reasons. I do. I have 3 kids, Caden, and I have 3 boys. I didn't want any more kids. Honestly, we did want 4 or 5 kids, but it wasn't my medical issues that made it. It was like economic issues, like we don't want a 4th kid and having to get a 3rd world row vehicle, which we do have now. But anyways, you know what I mean? Like all the logistics that come along with having like a 4th kid. Oh, thank you, PTSD. But, I had both highest risk types of HPV. Like, it's like 16 and 28, I forget the numbers. I have both the types of HPV that cause 80% of cervical cancer and a lot of throat cancer stuff too. I had both the highest risk types, and doctors were like, "No, you" like and I had the highest grade of cancerous cells before it was official cancer. It goes CIN1 to CIN3, and I had CIN3 a few times, and, like, CIN4 is cancer, and so I'm like, "Okay, so you keep letting it get, like, as bad as it's gonna get." I had a procedure to remove a mass, completely no pain relief, completely. Like a dye-sized mass. I'm sorry to the people that have heard this story 10 times, but, like, that's and it's like I don't talk about it as much as I want to. I wanted to make more content about it and just like to commiserate with women, but then it's like I don't want to be the reason why a woman doesn't go to get her pap smear or doesn't go to her biopsy appointment, Like I don't want to be the reason why a woman's health suffers either. But it is just insane what they do to women. Every biopsy was in the same spot and it kept hurting worse and worse. And I told them that the last time I got a real biopsy, I was literally screaming. I'm not exaggerating. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And I'd rather birth an 8-pound baby than go through that again. I'm not kidding. I had my last baby at home naturally. I'd rather have an 8-pound baby with no drugs than have another procedure on my cervix after all the things I went through. And so that's what they do to women. It has to become advanced cancer and invade a nearby organ to do anything about it. Until I got really good, that good insurance, I swear it was, I hate to say it, but I do think it was the insurance I had through that company. I had Medicaid before or I was self-pay. They weren't gonna sign me up for surgery with no insurance. They're like, "Something about Medicaid." They didn't wanna give it it's classism. Well, darling, have a blessed and restful night. I'm glad your health is doing better. I like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you around. Good night. I got an early morning. Oh, you too. If you're still in here, I hope you sleep well, Patrick. As usual, I got to wake up with the call of the rooster. I hope you sleep well, and I hope you feel super proud. And you know that there's a bunch of YouTube friends that are proud of you. I mean it. And appreciate all the work you do. Well, us men can go to massage parlors. We're all right, Caleb said. Oh, Caleb, that is not fulfilling. Lemon lime Gatorade. I've never looked back. It's worth it. If you can afford it, powder is best. You can dilute the sugar. Yes, Gloom. We do get the orange powder sometimes. Um, with my husband and his work, like I do try not to stress. Your life scares me, Caleb. Okay. Well, you guys, I hope you have a good night. And same thing with my medical issues. And I talk about them like, wow, I can't believe all that happened to me. Like it really does seem like, I don't sit around and like cry about it. But I do want better for women. I don't think it's right that they tell women it has to become advanced cervical cancer to give you a hysterectomy. Oh, I've heard this. It's not you not being able to fight the HPV. It's your husband cheating on you and bringing back the same strains of HPV. I had two, not one, but two doctors tell me it wasn't my body unable to fight the infection for 10 plus years. It was my husband reinfecting me. Isn't that crazy? I think that that is the worst thing any of them did, really. I'm medically retired from the army. I'm open with my stuff, and it's not for club. Yes, I think that's a good way to be PTSD, man. I don't like that, like, trauma dumping. I don't even like that term. Like, we've all been through shit, and isn't, like, the best, most real conversations you've ever had it is when people are talking about real shit and real stuff they've been through. I am going right now, Dwiley, but I hope you're doing well. It was so nice talking to you, PTSD, and Mr. Carey, and everybody else. I hope that everybody has a great night, and I will be on here same time tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier tomorrow, like 8:30, 9. I love you.